Douluo, at the beginning, I signed with the martial spirit of the god of death. This video is purely for entertainment and does not infringe on copyrights or laws. The rights to the novel and image belong to the original author. We do not claim ownership. Don't like waiting and want to listen to this fanfic in full now? Subscribe to our Patreon, where you'll find the best fanfics. Chapter 76 Acting Alone. The Shrek monsters didn't have any objections to Flanders' arrangement, and Chen Luo certainly had no objections either. Everyone can achieve those conditions, but Flanders didn't make their goal clear. Ma Hongjin asked directly, "Teacher, what is the goal of our graduation exam?" Flanders said, "In the first stage, you can rely on your collective strength to hunt the soul beasts that suit you. As long as the four of us never take action, you will be considered to have passed. As for the second stage, as long as you compete in the Soul Master competition, if you just come back with a championship, you will be able to graduate." After speaking, Flanders' eyes fell on Chen Luo, with a slightly thoughtful look on his face. It was obvious that he had no plans for Chen Luo. Chen Luo has always been a special existence among Shrek monsters. Almost any arrangement will have special treatment. Chen Luo is an exception. His goal, well, just try to break through to become a Soul King before you graduate. Flanders said. This was obviously a temporary decision. Yes, Dean. Chen Luo didn't have much opinion on this. Breaking through the Soul King before the Shrek monsters graduated was a bit difficult, but it wasn't impossible. It just required a lot of hard work. But the little monsters were no longer calm, and all of them couldn't help but complain. Dean, we can guarantee that the first stage will be completed perfectly, but this second stage will be very difficult. Daimube said. Yes, even if our talents are barely passable, we are still too young after all. In the Soul Master competition, we met all elite Soul Masters under the age of 25. It is already good to reach the finals. It's too difficult to win the championship, unless you allow Chen Luo to join our team. Ma Hongjin said. Flanders glared at Ma Hongjin, who immediately shut up. If Chen Luo joins, then what's the point of you participating in the Soul Master competition? I'm not exaggerating Chen Luo's strength. Even if he participates in the Soul Master competition alone and with a team, he can still easily win the championship, but what's the point of that? The strong disdain to fight with the weak, because it is meaningless. Flanders said solemnly, although he said so, his inner plan was not like this. If the critical moment came, he would still let Chen Luo play, even if it was just to let Chen Luo torture the vegetables, mainly the Soul Master. The prizes in the competition are so rich that people can win them at any cost. If possible, Flanders would also like to become a student and participate in the Soul Master competition. Of course, Chen Luo is Shrek Academy's ultimate trump card and will never be used unless absolutely necessary. After hearing Flanders' words, the little monsters who were still a little emotional instantly became quiet. They all knew that Flanders was telling the truth. Chen Luo was just that strong, much stronger than them. At this time, Xiao Wu suddenly said, Dean, I don't have any objections to your arrangements for us, but your arrangements for Chen Luo are a bit too harsh. It will only be a year or two before we can participate in the Soul Master competition. He just broke through to the Soul Sect level. How could he break through to the Soul King so quickly? Everyone was worried about their tasks, except Xiao Wu, who was always thinking about Chen Luo. Hearing this, Flanders hesitated for a moment, seeming to be questioning his own temporary idea. Indeed, it is too difficult to break through a level in 1 or 2 years. Even if Chen Luo is not an ordinary monster, it may not be possible. After all, it becomes more and more difficult as a Soul Master's strength increases, the difficulty almost doubles, and the test of talent is extremely high. Those who are not talented enough can only stay at a certain level or a level throughout their lives. Of course, there is no doubt about Chen Luo's talent. If you give him a certain amount of time, he will definitely become a famous title Douluo in the future. But genius also takes time to grow. Just as Flanders was about to speak, the master suddenly said, I believe he can achieve his goal. Hearing this, Flanders also nodded and looked at Xiao Wu with a smile. Be more confident in your Chen Luo, we all believe he can do it. Even Dean Flanders started teasing the word your family. Xiao Wu's pretty face instantly turned red and she stopped talking. At this time, the other little monsters also smiled and said, we also believe in Chen Luo's strength. After all, Chen Luo has done too many impossible things. When talking about goals, everyone did not stop. Sunset Forest is very close to Xiandao City. It is almost the place where soul masters hunt soul beasts in most cities around Xiandao City. This is also the reason why Shrek Academy chose this place. It didn't take long for Shrek and the others to arrive at their destination. As soon as they entered the forest, Flanders gave the order to separate. Chen Luo, you can move freely. As long as you don't run too far, there will be no problems. We also believe in your strength. You probably won the soul ring by relying on your own ability without us taking action. Come to us after you get the soul ring. Flanders has always had great trust in Chen Luo's strength, and he never even mentioned that he and others would go find Chen Luo after hunting for the soul ring. He believed that Chen Luo would finish it before them. Okay, Dean. Chen Luo nodded and separated from everyone. Everyone watched Chen Luo leave with smiles, only Xiao Wu's eyes showed a little worry. Chen Luo, you have to be careful. Xiao Wu said. Chen Luo nodded and waved his hand. Don't worry, I will meet you soon. Compared to the Stardao Forest, the Sunset Forest is much smaller in area, and the temperature here is also lower than that of the Stardao Forest. There are many temperate plants, and the plant density is not very high, making it easier to move, but similarly, the soul beast resources here are far inferior to those in the Stardao Forest. Chen Luo was walking alone on the path in the forest, sensing everything around him. He was still at the edge of the forest. There was definitely no soul beast suitable for him, but it was better to be more careful. In the process of moving forward, Chen Luo was also sorting out his memories in his mind. There is still half a month until the official start of the Soul Master Academy Elite Competition. During this period, the Shrek little monsters will try their best to improve their strength. Those who can obtain soul rings will obtain soul rings. Tang-san will also at this stage. I broke through to level, and obtained the first 10,000-year soul ring. It's a pity that I'm about to enter the most exciting part of Douluo, but I can't participate in it. I can only watch the game as a bystander. But Dean Flanders is right, I just want to abuse food. It's really boring, I might as well watch the game. Actually, I can practice on my own during the Shrek Monsters competition. There is no need to follow them all the time. It doesn't mean much, except to stay by Xiao Wu's side. Staying by Xiao Wu's side all the time will not make me stronger quickly. I don't have much time left, so I have to improve myself as much as possible. Forget it, don't think about these things for the time being. Let's live the present moment well and then get the 4th soul ring. After obtaining the 4th soul ring, you can refresh new tasks, and then you can make arrangements based on the sign-in tasks. By the way, I still have system points that are of no use. Maybe after I get the 4th soul ring, I can draw a wave of prizes. Chapter 77 Find the Target. Chen Luo has never forgotten the system lottery, but he has been restraining himself from using the lottery. He wants to accumulate more points to draw continuously, maybe that way he will have better luck. Chen Luo's current plan is to see what the new sign-in tasks are after obtaining the 4th soul ring. If it is easy to complete, then complete the task first and then draw the lottery. If it takes a while to complete, then draw the lottery first. There is really not much time left for him. There are really no soul beasts outside the Sunset Forest. There are quite a few weak soul beasts, but those are not Chen Luo's targets. Chen Luo also always adhered to the idea of sustainable development and did not take action against those weak soul beasts. Even if some ferocious soul beasts took the initiative to trouble him, he would use his momentum to scare them to the ground without killing them. The growth rate of soul beasts is really too slow. If they continue to kill indiscriminately, it is estimated that it will not take many years for soul beasts to become a legend in the Douluo world. Everyone knows these principles, so any soul master with a little bit of brains will not attack soul beasts randomly. It's a pity that I don't know the location of the ice and fire eyes. Otherwise, I can look over there. The premise is that the old poisoner Douluo is not there. That guy is very weird. If he becomes interested in me again, it will be very troublesome. Chen Luo came to a big tree and looked into the distance. He thought of the ice and fire eyes in his heart, but soon thought of Douluo. Nowadays, Chen Luo is no longer so afraid of Douluo. Although he will definitely not be able to defeat Douluo, he at least has a chance to save his life. The last time Douluo wanted to arrest him, he had already made plans to release the man-faced demon spider and nightmare centipede. Even if the two 10,000-year soul beasts could not delay him too much time, they could at least delay him. Come over to Flanders. When facing a 10,000-year soul beast, a tidal Douluo would basically kill them randomly, but even killing them would take a certain amount of time. And now Chen Luo has added a new general, the evil Soul Master Gongzi Hongyang, who is about to break through to Soul Saint. Even though Gongzi Hongyang was just cannon fodder in front of Douluo, he at least got a chance for Chen Luo. Why do I always think of the worst results? Douluo and I have no grievances and it is basically impossible for us to fight. After he was disappointed with me last time, he probably won't be too interested in me anymore. After all, Tang 3, the two of them are truly good friends. Chen Luo thought to himself. Jumping off the big tree, Chen Luo continued to move forward in the forest. At the same time, he was always aware of Flanders' position. After all, Flanders told Chen Luo to keep a certain distance from them. Of course, Chen Luo was not seeking the protection of the Golden Triangle, but he just didn't want them to worry. It is estimated that Tang San will use the Yaoxiang Kilo immortal artifact to track the spirit beasts in a short time. If you still can't find a suitable target before then, you can simply go to their site and stay there. It will be more efficient. Chen Luo made a decision in his mind. Intend. Walking quickly through the forest, half a day passed quickly. Chen Luo could sense that there was a battle on the side of Shrek's little monster, and he probably met a suitable soul beast, but he never met a suitable being on his side. The main reason is that they are still at the edge of the Sunset Forest, so it is very difficult to encounter powerful soul beasts. Although it is said that 10,000-a-year level soul beasts are like cannon fodder in the later stages of Douluo, and soul masters can be seen everywhere carrying 10,000-year soul rings, in fact the number of 10,000-a-year level soul beasts and above is still very small. If you still can't find it later, go meet Dean Flanders and the others. Either tell Dean Flanders that you want to go deeper into the forest, or wait for Tang San to use the Yaoxiang Kilo immortal artifact to track the spirit beast. Stay where you are. It's not a problem to keep dragging it on like this. Flanders' arrangement can indeed better protect his own safety, but it also limits his scope of activities. I should have told Dean Flanders from the beginning. If I went deep into the Sunset Forest, I might have found a suitable soul beast by now. Chen Luo thought to himself. Another half-day passed, and Chen Luo still couldn't find a suitable target. The strongest spirit beast he saw was the Crypt Demon Spider, who was in his early 10,000 years. He estimated that that creature would become Tang San's target soon. For Tang San's fourth spirit ring made a contribution. Chen Luo didn't hesitate anymore and directly met the Shrek people. After a while, Chen Luo found the Shrek people and explained the situation to Flanders straightforwardly. What surprised Chen Luo was that Flanders actually agreed to his request directly. Again, we believe in your strength. This is good, as it avoids a lot of trouble and explanations. It's just that Xiao Wu is a little worried and even wants to act together with Chen Luo. Chen Luo was willing to take Xiao Wu with him, but Flanders and the others did not agree. There are reasons why they disagree. Acting alone and acting with someone are completely different concepts. It's not that Xiao Wu's strength is not strong enough. It's just that compared to Chen Luo's strength, Xiao Wu really can't play a big role. His role is probably to become a burden to Chen Luo. If Chen Luo is in danger, he can run alone, but if he takes Xiao Wu with him, the difficulty of escaping will increase exponentially. In the end, there was nothing he could do, so Chen Luo left under Xiao Wu's worried eyes. After receiving Dean Flanders' permission, Chen Luo began to approach the center of the Sunset Forest. He believed that there would definitely be a soul beast suitable for him there. Do you really not have to worry about him? Flanders whispered next to the master. The master nodded firmly. Don't worry, even if he encounters danger, he can escape unscathed. Don't question his fighting ability. Even if he fights against the second dragon, he can last for several rounds. I know that, it's just... Flanders still looked a little worried. Just now he agreed to Chen Luo's request, which was actually the master's signal. The master said, it's just that the soul beast forest is too dangerous. Maybe Chen Luo is unlucky and encounters an extremely powerful soul beast. Don't think too much. Although the Sunset Forest is the largest soul beast forest near Xiandao City, there are actually not many powerful soul beasts in this forest. You thought this was the Stardao Forest, but you saw 10 of them casually. Year-old Titan, the king of the forest. Hearing this, Flanders nodded, that's true. After staying away from the Shrek crowd, Chen Luo directly called out his 2 dead soul beast brothers. In fact, he also wanted to call out Gongzi Hongyang to get some air, but that guy was actually in seclusion, desperately trying to attack the Soul Saint level. Chen Luo had to give up. After all, he had come to the center of the sunset forest, so he had to be careful. Even though he was confident in his own strength, there was nothing wrong with being more cautious. Here, Chen Luo has already sensed several relatively powerful auras, and he is already choosing a soul beast that suits him. Forget it, I'm too lazy to choose, it's just you, King of the Earth. Chapter 78 King of the Earth, Dark Blue. The location where Chen Luo is at this time is already considered the central area of Sunset Forest. The soul beasts here are basically more than 10,000 years old, but there are only a small number, and there are no extremely powerful soul beasts. Standing on the body of the hell demon spider, Chen Luo sensed the surrounding situation and quickly selected his target, a king of the earth that was about 2 years old. He ordered the hell demon spider and nightmare centipede to move forward together, and after a while, they arrived at an open space. Ahead, with flames soaring into the sky, an extremely huge scorpion was enjoying its food. A wolf-shaped soul beast had its neck bitten off. The huge scorpion was tearing the hind legs of the wolf-shaped soul beast. A circle of black soul beasts, the ring hovered over the body of the wolf-shaped soul beast. The huge scorpion has a body almost as big as the hell demon spider, and even looks bigger. Its appearance is extremely strange, its whole body is dark blue, and there is a strong evil spirit in the joints of its body. A tail made of 4 tailbones is raised high, and a faint blue tail hook is connected to it. Chen Luo can sense the approximate strength of the giant scorpion, and the identity and age of the giant scorpion can be seen more intuitively through its appearance. The king of the earth is an extremely domineering soul beast with a murderous nature. Although it is not as fearful of soul beasts as the poisonous poison of the man-faced demon spider, few soul beasts of the same level dare to provoke it. It is definitely only high-grade fire-type soul beasts. When the Earth King's cultivation reaches the level of 10,000 years, the color of his body will turn into dark blue. Each tailbone represents 5,000 years of cultivation, and 4 tailbones are more than 2 years old. Don't forget, Chen Luo has also learned a lot about soul beasts. Although he is not as professional as Tang, he can still easily identify soul beasts. The King of Earth in front of him just met Chen Luo's needs for a soul ring. It was more than 2 years old, and it also came with a special element, fire. Although Chen Luo had already added the fire property to the Death Reaper in his second soul ring, the King of Earth in front of him was still a candidate. As long as he absorbed its soul ring, the Death Reaper's fire property will be stronger. I'm too lazy to choose anymore. There's nothing left to choose from. It's just you, King of the Earth. Chen Luo had already determined his target and waved his hand to signal his 2 dead soul beast brothers to take action. He jumped down from the body of the hell demon spider, activated his martial soul, and entered an immortal state. After all, the King of Earth in front of him is a 2-year-old soul beast, so it is not that easy to deal with. Maybe his 2 dead soul beast brothers, the hell demon spider and the nightmare centipede, can kill it, but they will definitely pay a certain price necessary. Why would he stand aside and watch when they could fight in a group together? That is to say, Guangzhongyang is practicing to reach the Soul Saint level. Otherwise, if he is called out and we deal with the 2-year-old King of Earth together, we can definitely solve it in minutes. But it doesn't matter, Guangzhongyang can still take down the King of the Earth. Don't forget, the Hell Demon Spider's current strength has reached the 3-year-old level. It is not easy to deal with the 2-year-old Earth King. That is, Chen Luo wants to minimize the loss, or to be precise, the consumption. Otherwise, the Hell Demon Spider, a dead soul beast, could easily control the King of Earth. After all, the King of the Earth is a 2-year-old soul beast. If it causes damage to the Hell Demon Spider, the Hell Demon Spider will have to spend a certain amount of time in the dead space to recover from the injury, which is a bit uneconomical. When Chen Luo and his 2 dead soul beast brothers appeared, the King of the Earth had already noticed them, but did not make any move and continued to enjoy his food. It wasn't until Chen Luo and the Hell Demon Spider kept approaching the King of Earth, and the Nightmare Centipede was surrounding them, that the King of Earth took action. Soul beasts have very keen senses, and the higher their cultivation level, the higher their sensitivity will naturally be. Especially soul beasts that are more than 10,000 years old, they already possess a certain degree of wisdom. When Chen Luo, the Hell Spider and the Nightmare Centipede entered the King of Earth's perception range, the King of Earth was still a little confused. Humans could actually coexist with spirit beasts. When Chen Luo started to act, the King of Earth immediately sensed the crisis. It's just that the King of the Earth is very confident in its own strength. It has already regarded Chen Luo and his two dead soul beast brothers as its desserts, oh no, to be precise, the staple food. Seeing them, the King of the Earth suddenly I feel like the wolf-shaped soul beast in my mouth no longer tastes good. The distance between Chen Luo and the human-faced demon spider and the King of Earth kept getting closer. The nightmare centipede had already circled behind the King of Earth, and a big battle was about to begin. The King of Earth always seemed very calm. When Chen Luo and the others came to a certain range around it, a dazzling blue light suddenly bloomed from its body. Then, with its body as the center, the air within a radius of tens of square meters was completely distorted, and the ground beneath it cracked instantly. Its two huge front claws thumped the ground hard, and the distorted air a strong shock wave was generated immediately. Chen Luo, the hell demon spider and the nightmare centipede were affected by the shock wave, and their bodies froze instantly, and they all stayed in place. At this moment, the cracked ground beneath the King of Earth was accompanied by a loud bang, and a blue pillar of fire rose into the sky. The pillar of fire was 10 meters in diameter, and Chen Luo, the hell demon spider and the nightmare centipede were all swallowed up instantly. This is the innate skill of the King of the Earth, Magma Ground Strike, which can create air shock within a certain range and stun the enemy. The duration of the stun is determined by the distance between the King of the Earth and his opponent. Once the opponent's body is immobilized, the pillar of high heat fire that is as hot as magma will be ejected at the next moment to deliver a fatal blow to the enemy. The blue pillar of fire gradually disappeared, but Chen Luo and his two dead soul beast brothers who were swallowed up in it disappeared. Of course it wasn't burned into ashes by the blue pillar of fire and dissipated in the world. This can be seen from the vigilance and surprise shown by the King of Earth. The huge blue tail hook behind the King of Earth is ready to attack at any time, and the two huge scorpion pincers remain open, moving forward to tear everything apart at any time. Everything around him returned to calm. If it weren't for the earth that collapsed around the King of Earth and the scorched marks on the surface of the land, it would have been as if nothing had happened just now. Chen Luo, the hell spider and the nightmare centipede appeared again. They did not take any action and kept a certain distance from the King of Earth. The nightmare centipede was slightly further forward, but it was absolutely safe. Okay, the King of Earth's skills have also been forced out, it's time to hunt. Chen Luo waved his hand gently, and the hell spider and nightmare centipede moved at the same time and rushed towards the King of Earth. He followed the two dead soul beast brothers, waiting for the final harvest opportunity. If there was a chance, he would also go out put a wave before. Chapter 79 New Soul Ring, Undead. As it advanced, many blood-red lines gradually appeared on the hell demon spider's pitch-black body. Most of its 8 spider spears were blood-red, and the gray aura that originally lingered around it also turned into blood-red. After completing the evolution, the hell demon spider has the ability to condense its aura and change its appearance. Under Chen Luo's instructions, the hell demon spider controlled its appearance and aura at its previous 1-year level. If this were not the case, the King of Earth would not be so confident and dare to fight one against many. At this time, the hell demon spider's momentum burst out, and the Earth King was trembling all over. He immediately thought of running away, but his way back was blocked by the nightmare centipede. Just now, the King of Earth released his skill and breathed some air. It was mainly due to Nightmare Centipede's special skill, Nightmare, that it worked. The Nightmare Centipede can create extremely realistic illusions. Even the King of Earth is far more powerful than it and is still confused by the illusion. Of course, there must be elements of the King of Earth being careless, but no matter what, the result is extremely satisfying to Chen Luo. Chen Luo knew the Earth King, and of course he also knew the Earth King's innate skills. From the beginning, he planned to force out the Earth King's skills first, and it happened that the Nightmare Centipede had excellent illusion skills. In Chen Luo's impression, when he was hunting the Nightmare Centipede in the Stardow Forest, the Nightmare Centipede used the Nightmare skill on the Crypt Demon Spider at that time, but because the Crypt Demon Spider was a pure undead, it directly ignored the Nightmare. Now it seems that Nightmare Centipede's Nightmare skills are still very strong. The King of Earth has handed over his key skills and cannot release them again for a while. Although its huge body and powerful power cannot be ignored, compared to its skills, these are not very important. When the Hell Demon Spider showed its true strength, the fear shown by the Earth King had already doomed the outcome of the battle. The King of Earth was also very smart. He immediately charged at the Nightmare Centipede, which was much weaker than him. That was its last chance to escape. But how could the nightmare centipede get out of the way? As a dead soul, it didn't know what pain was, so it directly blocked the King of Earth with its own body, and also used its sharp claws and big claws as much as possible. The mouth does damage to the Earth King. The King of Earth frantically attacked the nightmare centipede, but he could only move forward slightly. The King of Earth's huge scorpion pincers left horrific wounds on the nightmare centipede's body, and its blue tail hook penetrated the nightmare centipede's body again and again, but it was still to no avail and could not change its ending. The hell demon spider was so fast that it arrived behind the King of Earth in just a few breaths. Then, it no longer gave the King of Earth a chance to continue sending out nightmare centipedes. The sharp and poisonous spider spear suddenly penetrated the King of Earth's body. And it also released a blood-red spider web that instantly enveloped the King of Earth. The battle is almost over at this point. The King of Earth simply could not withstand the poison of the hell demon spider, and his life force was passing away quickly. Chen Luo finally got the chance to take action, but this move was to kill the King of Earth. The huge death scythe fell, and the black flames instantly swept through the Earth King's body, taking away its last trace of life force. A black soul ring slowly rose from the Earth King's feet, completely announcing the end of the Earth King's life. Is this taken? Chen Luo was still a little unsatisfied. The battle ended too quickly, which was somewhat beyond his expectation. The main reason is that the hell demon spider is so powerful that it almost completely destroys the King of the Earth. Of course, this has a lot to do with the fear of the Earth King. If the King of the Earth does not choose to escape, but fights to the death with a hell demon spider, it will be said that maybe it could leave something on the hell demon spider, but it's a pity that it's still afraid. Chen Luo slowly came to the body of the Earth King, but his eyes fell on the nightmare centipede who was seriously injured on one side. The nightmare centipede was looking straight at the hell demon spider with an expression of envy, and Chen Luo also felt a sense of complaint from it. Why, do you still think that the hell demon spider is trying to sell you out? It is fully capable of dominating the battlefield. After Chen Luo figured out the nightmare centipede's thoughts, he couldn't help but feel a little funny. There is no doubt about the strength of the hell demon spider, but if you want to sell it to you, it is a bit too much. The hell demon spider has no consciousness at all, and its fighting it was all based on instinct, and there was no way I could sell you. You don't need to be envious. You were afraid when I asked you to choose. You only have one chance, and you didn't grasp it well. Chen Luo smiled, and then put the nightmare centipede into the dead space. The nightmare centipede was still very seriously injured. The King of Earth's last struggle fell on the nightmare centipede. It is estimated that this guy will have to stay in the dead space for a long time. It will take some time for the wound to heal. It's not a big problem, as long as the one injured is not the hell demon spider. Now the hell demon spider is the one Chen Luo focuses on cultivating. The King of Earth has been successfully dealt with. With a hell demon spider here, there is no need to worry about safety issues. The seriously injured nightmare centipede cannot play much role, so it is better to return to the necromantic space to recover from its injuries. Another little brother is here, we must accept him. After taking back the nightmare centipede, Chen Luo's eyes fell on the King of Earth. Seeing this behemoth, a smile appeared on Chen Luo's face unconsciously. Wake. Without much hesitation, Chen Luo directly used awakening on the King of Earth. The dead soul beast in front of me is not for nothing, and after waking up, it can also reduce the difficulty of absorbing the soul ring, so it must be arranged. The process of awakening is very fast. Even though the Earth King is a 2-year-old soul beast, Chen Luo's current strength has reached level, and can fully withstand the consumption of awakening. In less than a minute, the Earth King came back to life, and all the wounds on his body were healed. Like Chen Luo's other dead soul beasts, after the Earth King woke up, his physique increased again, a gray aura lingered around his body, and his strength also became much stronger. It's done, you can absorb the soul ring. Chen Luo ordered the King of Earth and the Hell Demon Spider to guard him while he began to absorb the soul ring. Of course, the process of absorbing the soul ring is as smooth as ever. The resentment in the soul ring that originally belonged to the Earth King has been absorbed into the body of the Earth King along with some of the Earth King's soul during its awakening. This has greatly reduced the difficulty of absorbing soul rings. As for the resentment of the Earth King, it all dissipated the moment the Earth King woke up. The moment it came back to life, it was destined to be loyal to Chen Luo for the rest of its life. The black soul ring suspended on the ground disappeared, and Chen Luo completed absorbing the Earth King's soul ring. He slowly stood up and activated his martial soul. On top of the 3 original soul rings, 2 purple and 1 black, there was a darker and deeper soul ring. Chapter 81 Last Look. Finding the soul beast, killing the soul beast, and absorbing the soul ring all went very smoothly. They were basically under Chen Luo's control, and no accidents happened. If there were any surprises, it would be that the nightmare centipede was a little miserable. It is estimated that it will take at least several days to fully recover from the wound. Who would have thought that the King of Earth would be so afraid of the hell demon spider that had unleashed its full strength? The difference in strength was even more vividly displayed in their soul beasts. My current strength should be around level 42. I have absorbed a soul ring worth more than 2 years, but the level of soul power I have increased is so small. But I should be satisfied. In the past, I basically didn't improve after absorbing soul rings. Maybe after I broke through to level, I really open up the shackles, and the upgrade path will be very smooth in the future. If this is really the case, then the 3 of the hard work and stagnation before level, are all worth it. Ever since Chen Luo obtained a new soul ring after breaking through level, he found that his soul power level increased much faster than before level, Others start faster and faster, but their improvement speed will become slower and slower later on. When he came here, everything changed. Putting away his martial spirit, Chen Luo looked at his dead soul beast brothers. The Hell Spider and the Earth King are loyally guarding him, waiting for his orders at any time. Perhaps sensing that Chen Luo had completed everything, the Hell Spider and the King of Earth had some more thoughts. The Hell Demon Spider's idea was very simple. It kept staring at the body of the wolf-shaped soul beast that was originally regarded as food by the King of Earth, wanting to devour it. After Chen Luo noticed it, he was a little surprised, but he naturally agreed happily and waved his hand to indicate that the Hell Demon Spider could move. The Hell Demon Spider immediately rushed towards the corpse of the wolf-type soul beast and devoured the corpse of the wolf-type soul beast very quickly, and the black soul ring that originally belonged to the wolf-type soul beast instantly dimmed a lot. Chen Luo could clearly feel that the strength of the Hell Demon Spider seemed to have become stronger, and a surprised smile appeared on his face unconsciously. My soul hunter can improve its strength by hunting souls. The Hell Demon Spider seems to be able to increase its strength by devouring corpses. Maybe devouring living creatures can have a better effect. Is this also inherited from the characteristics of the 3-headed Hell Dog? After the Hell Demon Spider finished devouring the wolf-shaped soul beast, it immediately returned to Chen Luo. Without intelligence, it only had the simplest thoughts. The devouring just now seemed to be just instinct. After fulfilling its instinct, it just wanted to protect Chen Luo's body around. Chen Luo gently touched the huge body of the Hell Demon Spider. From its hard, metallic shell, Chen Luo could feel a hint of coolness. If I have the opportunity in the future, if I let you continue to devour it, maybe you can grow to an unexpected degree. Chen Luo's figure disappeared, and when he reappeared, he was already on the body of the Hell Spider. The soul ring has been absorbed, and the purpose has been achieved. Let's leave the central area of the forest first, and then go to meet the Shrek monsters. I don't know what's going on with them there. Chen Luo ordered the Hell Spider to move forward, and at the same time wanted to take the King of Earth back to the dead space. It is enough to have the Hell Demon Spider to open the way, and there is no need to create such a large formation. Okay. Chen Luo looked at the King of Earth with some surprise. You still don't want to go back? When he just gave the order to the King of Earth to return to the space of the dead, he was actually rejected by the King of Earth. Of course, Chen Luo could force the King of Earth into the necromantic space, but he did not do that. Generally speaking, the undead are extremely obedient and rarely disobey orders. It is precisely because of this that Chen Luo has never issued mandatory orders to his undead brothers. Basically, they immediately implemented Chen Luo's intention after being informed of it, which was a precedent for the King of the Earth. There should be a reason, and it is true. Chen Luo has already sensed the thoughts of the King of Earth. Do you still want to go somewhere else? The Earth King's tail hook slowly dropped, and then his body moved slightly in one direction. Okay, let's go. Chen Luo nodded directly. Anyway, I am not in a hurry to meet up with Shrek and the others in such a short time. I will go and see what happens to my newly acquired dead soul beast first. Of course Chen Luo could check the Earth King's memory through his special connection with the Earth King, but he didn't do that. He has rarely checked the memories of the souls he hunts and awakens. Sometimes too many memories can affect his mind. The King of Earth led the way, and Chen Luo followed, standing on the Hell Demon Spider. After a while, they came to a cave. From a distance, Chen Luo could smell the rotten smell of corpses. The smell was extremely strong and pungent. There is a soul beast's corpse stored in the cave, and it has been stored for a while. Chen Luo thought to himself. As the Earth King entered the cave, Chen Luo did see a huge soul beast corpse. Based on the general appearance, Chen Luo could vaguely tell that it was a pink girl. To be precise, she should be called the Pink Queen. The Pink Queen has a similar appearance to the Earth King. She is also in the shape of a scorpion, but is completely pink and covered with a layer of fine scales. This Pink Queen is at least 8,000 years old, but it has been dead for a long time. There is an extremely terrifying wound on its abdomen, which must be the cause of its death. There are very few pink girls who can grow to this level. Generally, pink girls at the 1,000-year level are called pink empresses. It is not too much to call a pink girl at the 10,000-year level a pink queen. Either he encountered a powerful soul master, or he encountered a more powerful soul beast, was seriously injured, or died on the spot, and was later brought back by the King of Earth. Chen Luo analyzed in his mind. Even though his spouse has died, the King of Earth still refuses to accept the reality and has been guarding her as if she is still alive. I don't know how long the King of Earth has maintained this situation. It must have been a while, and the body of the Pink Queen has rotted quite badly. The reason why the King of Earth refuses to return to the dead space is because he wants to come back and see the Pink Queen again. Even though the King of Earth has established an absolute connection with Chen Luo and can never betray Chen Luo, the King of Earth still wants to see Pink Queen. The Queen refused one of Chen Luo's orders. The Earth King wanted to see the Pink Queen one last time, even if it was just the last time. Ah! Chen Luo couldn't help but laugh. Soul beasts can also be so infatuated. Love is indeed the most beautiful thing, but many people have turned this word into a satire. Chapter 81 Forever Together. The Earth King came to the Pink Queen's body and stared at the Pink Queen for a long time. He also gently touched the Pink Queen's head with his tail hook, as if saying his final goodbyes. Chen Luo took a deep breath, then jumped off the Hell Demon Spider and went straight to the Pink Queen's body. I don't know if I can succeed. After all, it has been dead for a long time, but I still want to give it a try. Chen Luo seemed to be talking to the King of Earth, but also seemed to be talking to himself. Possessed by death, Chen Luo activated his martial spirit. A shadow that only he could see appeared in front of him and merged into his body. Then a huge sickle appeared in his hand, 2 purple, 2 black and 4 souls. Rings floated around him. Wake! Chen Luo swung the death scythe, and then slashed at the Pink Queen's body. At that moment, Chen Luo even sensed that the King of Earth actually wanted to block the attack for the Pink Queen. It was so infatuated and ridiculous. Because of the special connection, it was of course impossible for the Earth King to really do such a thing. In the end, the death scythe stabbed firmly on the Pink Queen's body and was instantly submerged in it. Then Chen Luo's body began to tremble slightly, and his soul power began to peel away from his body quickly, and was absorbed by the Pink Queen's body. It's just that this process lasted only a few breaths and then stopped. Obviously, the awakening failed. Chen Luo has never failed to wake up before, and this failure was also the result of him doing it even though he knew there would be such an outcome. Sure enough, it still doesn't work. Chen Luo sighed softly, and then put away his martial spirit. The consumption of his awakening just now was almost negligible. If possible, he would rather have his soul power absorbed crazily so that the Pink Queen still has a chance to be resurrected. Now it seems that everything is an unrealistic dream. The Pink Queen has been dead for too long and cannot meet the conditions for awakening. Whether Chen Luo is soul hunting or awakening, there are certain conditions, but not all dead animals can hunt souls or awaken at will. A target like this that has been dead for a long time is obviously unable to use those 2 special skills. Everything was as expected by Chen Luo. He was not too surprised, but he was still a little disappointed. In fact, so what if the Pink Queen is resurrected? He cannot give up his other undead brothers for the so-called love of the King of Earth. Even the Nightmare Centipede, which is now the most rubbish, still has a certain role, but it has not yet reached the point where it must be updated. That's it. You've seen it. It's time to return to the dead space. Chen Luo looked at the King of Earth and said. The Earth King's tail hook dropped slightly, and he was about to enter the dead space. But at this moment, the Hell Demon Spider suddenly moved forward, rushed to the Pink Queen's body, and then devoured the Pink Queen's body extremely crazily. Damn it, this is so serious. This body has been there for not only half a year, but several months. Chen Luo was shocked. The king of the earth was immediately anxious and was about to rush forward to fight to the death with a hell demon spider, even though it knew that it was far from the hell demon spider's opponent. And many more. Chen Luo gave the order to stop to the king of earth. Even though the king of earth was extremely angry, he could only stay where he was, watching his pink queen being swallowed by the hell spider. The devouring process was very fast, and it was completely devoured in just a few seconds. This speed was also very exaggerated. Fortunately, the devouring process is short, otherwise the king of earth would definitely go crazy. Watching his pink queen being devoured would be nothing short of extremely painful torture for it. Even though it has become an undead, it is still alive. Preserves a certain amount of wisdom. Even if everything is forgotten, the king of earth will never forget his pink queen. Don't worry, the hell spider won't do any good if it eats your wife. On the contrary, it will do some harm. It must be trying to do something. Chen Luo said calmly, with a little expectation in his voice. He could sense that after the hell demon spider devoured the pink queen's body, its strength did not increase at all. Instead, it showed a tendency to regress. The 10,000-year-old wolf-type soul beast it had devoured seemed to be in vain. After the hell spider finished devouring it, it stayed where it was, while Chen Luo watched silently. The king of earth became increasingly angry and even wanted to attack the hell demon spider against Chen Luo's orders. Soon, the hell demon spider took action. The body of the hell demon spider was seen trembling violently, and then the bloody mist around it became thicker, and the red lines on its body became more conspicuous. Then a small bag as big as a fist suddenly bulged on its torso, which was quickly covered with cracks and then burst directly. A pink girl as big as half a fist emerged from it, and then quickly rushed towards the king of earth who was standing opposite the hell demon spider and gritted his teeth with hatred. When the king of earth saw the pink girl, he was stunned. All his anger disappeared instantly, followed by an explosion of unspeakable emotions. Chen Luo directly cut off his emotional connection with the king of earth to prevent himself from being affected. He didn't even want to look at the scene and directly focused on the hell demon spider. The small bag on the hell demon spider burst and disappeared instantly, as if nothing happened. However, the strength of the hell demon spider has indeed weakened, and the contribution of the 10,000-year-old wolf-type soul beast has been completely wiped out. Chen Luo stared at the hell demon spider in great surprise, and then quickly turned back to look at the pink girl staying on the Earth King's body. How did you do it? The hell spider immediately conveyed the simplest message to Chen Luo: execute your order. Order. Chen Luo looked confused. When did I give the order? Could it be that the hell spider took my desire to resurrect the pink queen as an order? Is the ability it just displayed related to the three-headed hell dog? It seems that I have really found a treasure, or that I have made a right bet. The evolution of the hell demon spider is absolutely a miracle, the most perfect miracle. Not only has his strength been greatly improved, but he has also gained some of the characteristics and abilities of the three-headed hell dog. From devouring to the recent resurrection, it is not resurrection, it should be copying. These abilities are very strong, and can even be described as abnormal. Chen Luo gently touched the body of the hell demon spider, then turned his head, and his eyes finally returned to the king of earth. I can feel that the pink girl is closely related to the pink queen. Maybe she is the incarnation of the pink queen. Otherwise, the king of earth would not be so close to her. I just don't know if this gadget can bring the undead together. Space. If it doesn't work, I'm afraid there will be another life and death farewell. Chen Luo gave it a try. This time the Earth King showed no resistance and was immediately taken into the necromantic space, along with a pink queen who was half the size of a fist. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelists. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 82 New Mission. Hey, what's going on? We can actually enter the dead space together. Chen Luo witnessed a pink queen and the Earth King entering the necromantic space together, and clearly sensed their existence in the necromantic space. Isn't there only 4 empty spaces in the necromantic space? The Hell Demon Spider, Nightmare Centipede, Guangshongang, and the King of Earth obtained today have already occupied all the empty spaces. Why can the Pink Queen still enter? Chen Luo is very clear about the special definition of the necromantic space. There is no size in that special space. No matter how big things are, it seems that they can be stored in it. The necromantic space is only defined by quantity. How many vacancies you unlock can store how many necromancers you want. Not long ago, Chen Luo only had 2 undead vacancies, which were occupied by the current Hell Demon Spider, the previous Crypt Demon Spider, and the Nightmare Centipede. Later, because he completed the system's check-in task, obtained the Death Armor, and turned on the Death Suit function, 2 more undead slots were added. It's not that Chen Luo didn't try to store more undead souls in the undead space, but they all failed. Now, the Pink Queen has successfully entered the necromantic space. No wonder Chen Luo is so surprised. Is it possible that the Pink Queen was copied from the Hell Spider, so it is still considered a part of the Hell Spider and does not occupy the undead space? Chen Luo thought to himself, it seems that this is the only explanation that makes sense. Chen Luo did not test this idea again. It was impossible for him to let the Hell Demon Spider copy something again and try it out. That makes no sense at all. Spending a huge amount of cultivation in exchange for an extremely worthless little undead is obviously a blood-losing deal. Only under special circumstances or if your brain is crazy, you will do such stupid things. Quantity is often not worth mentioning in the face of quality. Perhaps the Hell Demon Spider can copy many undead souls, but the price is the Hell Demon Spider's strength, which is obviously not an advisable option. After bringing the Earth King and Pink Queen into the necromantic space, Chen Luo briefly sensed their situation. Like other undead, they can slowly increase their strength by staying in the undead space. Naturally, the Pink Queen has no hope. When the Pink Queen grows up and becomes a powerful force, it is estimated that the Hell Demon Spider will reach the 10-year-old level. The meaning of the existence of the Pink Queen is nothing more than to satisfy the thoughts in the heart of the King of Earth. The same is true. The King of Earth was very active after being accompanied by the Pink Queen. As soon as he entered the necromancer space, he immediately silently absorbed the special energy in the necromancer space and continuously improved his strength. Let's go, it's time to meet up with Shrek and the others. It has been delayed for such a long time. Although it is not a big problem and we have witnessed a love story of a soul beast, if we continue to delay it, I am afraid that there will be problems. What if they have finished hunting soul beasts to obtain soul rings and come to me? Wouldn't it be embarrassing to see the Hell Demon Spider? Chen Luo came to the Hell Demon Spider again and asked it to walk towards the outskirts of the forest. At the same time, Chen Luo carefully perceived everything around him. He wasn't worried about danger, he was worried about Dean Flanders and others coming to find him. If you sense it in advance, you can put away the Hell Spider immediately to avoid a lot of trouble. The 4th soul ring has been obtained, and the new mission has been refreshed. A blue holographic panel appeared in front of Chen Luo, displaying lines of information, which was the system's new mission. Main mission, go to the Killing City to sign in. Mission content, survive for 30 days and obtain the title of God of Killing within, days. Side mission, participate in the Advanced Soul Master Academy Elite Competition. Task content, complete the registration, and your team will win the Advanced Soul Master Academy Elite Competition. After obtaining the 4th soul ring, Chen Luo has been busy with the Earth King's affairs and has not had time to check out the new missions. Now he finally has time to check it out. After seeing the 2 newly refreshed tasks, Chen Luo's lips unconsciously raised. Chen Luo originally wanted to find a better place to practice while the Shrek 7 Devils participated in the Advanced Soul Master Academy Elite Competition, and the Killing City was among his choices. Now that the new check-in mission happens to be in the Killing City, I decided to go to the Killing City directly. There is nothing to hesitate. As for the side missions, aren't they clearly intended to give rewards? As long as you tell Dean Flender, you can complete the registration for the Advanced Soul Master Academy Elite Competition. As for your team winning the championship, isn't it a matter of time? If there was an accident along the way and the Shrek 7 Devils died, he would shoulder the heavy burden again. With his strength, beating those students of the Soul Master Academy would be like beating a child. Even if they are the golden generation of Wuhan Palace, what can they do? As long as he takes action, they will still be trampled under his feet. Not one level at all. When Chen Luo reaches level 29, he can beat Soul King Yi's Hikyu violently. Even if Yi's Hikyu, the teacher of Kanghu College, is considered a relatively rubbish Soul King, he is still a genuine Soul King. After he reached level, he directly competed with Zhao Wuji, who was at the Soul Saint level. Zhao Wuji was serious about it, and Chen Luo was still able to fight him back and forth. To be honest, those so-called geniuses are not worth mentioning in front of Chen Luo. In terms of soul power level, it may be about the same, but in terms of combat power, Chen Luo can even play with them without opening his martial soul. After returning from the Sunset Forest, I will tell Dean Flender about signing up for the Advanced Soul Master Academy Elite Competition, and then talk to Xiao Wu so that I can go to the Killing City to experience as soon as possible. Chen Luo made a plan in his heart. Intend. I don't know since when, the sense of urgency in Chen Luo's heart has become stronger and stronger. He just wants to seize every opportunity to become stronger quickly. Only by becoming strong enough can he protect everything he wants to protect. In fact, Chen Luo's current strength is already very good. He himself is already very strong, and he also has 4 powerful undead brothers. Among them, the evil soul master Gongzhonggang is still a soul master close to the soul saint level, but Chen Luo still feels that not enough. From Chen Luo's point of view, if he didn't have a dead soul beast that was comparable to the title Douluo level, or a dead soul master that was directly at the title Douluo level, he would feel it was not enough. Either that, or Chen Luo's own strength has improved to the point where he can compete with a strong man at the title Douluo level. In the early stage of Douluo, any stronger soul master or spirit beast is very scary, but in the later stage, those below the level of title Douluo are basically cannon fodder, and 10-year-old soul beasts will still become prey. You can't do it without hard work. Time waits for no one. If you don't work hard now, you are destined to regret it in the future. After Chen Luo let the Hell Demon Spider take him out of the central area of the Sunset Forest, he directly put the Hell Demon Spider away and then moved forward alone. There was no longer a dangerous area here, and there was no need for a dead soul beast brother. Protect and protect. Chapter 83. How did you do it? Sunset Forest. Between the towering trees, a figure moved forward quickly, leaving shadows among the trees. Some weak soul beasts basically ran away subconsciously after seeing it, and some were even more frightened and simply collapsed on the ground. Not long after, the figure stopped on the branch of a big tree. Wearing a black outfit, he is tall and strong, with a very handsome appearance. He doesn't look very old, but he gives people a very calm feeling. This person is Chen Luo. Chen Luo had arrived at the edge of Sunset Forest, but he didn't find anyone from Shrek along the way. It's not that something happened to Shrek or everyone went back. Even if something goes wrong, there will be some traces left, and even if he goes back, there will be some traces left. Chen Luo didn't sense anything. Obviously, the possibility of both situations is unlikely. It seems that they and I took completely different paths, and we were completely separated. But it's not a big problem. Now that we've reached the edge area, we can find them soon. Chen Luo paused for a while, carefully sensing everything around him, and then continued to move forward. After walking among the trees for about half a quarter of an hour, Chen Luo came to the corpses of some soul beasts. It's a dead Earth King, and some pink girls. Not far away is the Pink Queen. Finally found the traces of Shrek's people walking by. The Earth King and the Pink Empress are both soul beasts that the Shrek monsters need. As expected, Mo Hongjin absorbed the Earth King's soul ring, and Oscar absorbed the Pink Empress's soul ring. Everything matches the plot in memory. Chen Luo continued to sense where he was for a moment, and after confirming that Shrek and the others were not nearby, he directly called out the Hell Demon Spider. The 5,000-year-old soul beast may not improve the Hell Demon Spider much, but mosquitoes are still meat no matter how small they are. They can be improved to some extent, and resources cannot be wasted. Without Chen Luo's deliberate command, the Hell Demon Spider immediately swept the battlefield and devoured all the corpses of the soul beasts. Its strength increased again, but this time it really only increased a little. The improvement of low-aged soul beasts against the Hell Demon Spider is really limited. After returning the Hell Spider to the dead space, Chen Luo continued to move forward. As long as he encountered the corpse of the soul beast along the way and sensed that Shrek and the others were not around, Chen Luo would immediately release the Hell Spider to clean the battlefield. Until, Chen Luo sensed the existence of many soul beasts and the auras of Shrek people. It's finally here. It's a pity that I can't continue to clean the battlefield later. It's a bit of a waste. Chen Luo stood on the branch of a tree and could vaguely see the situation ahead. Many soul beasts gathered there, including many with 10,000-year soul beasts. Maybe it was because the area here was still on the outskirts of the Sunset Forest, but we didn't see many powerful soul beasts. Obviously, The situation before him was that Tang San was using the Yaoxiang Kilo Immortal to track the spirit beast. Why don't we go there later? Since there are so many soul beasts now, we have to fight our way through directly. It's not necessary. Chen Luo sat down directly on the branch of the tree, silently waiting for the end of the process of hunting the soul beast ahead. But who would have thought that before he had sat down for long, a familiar aura was quickly approaching him, coming from the center surrounded by soul beasts. It's Flanders. Flanders obviously sensed Chen Luo's aura and came to look for him. Oh, I can't even sit here for a while. I have to go to the scene to watch the battle. Chen Luo sighed softly, then stood up. Not long after, Flanders' figure actually appeared. Have you obtained a suitable soul ring? Flanders asked. Chen Luo nodded. Yes. I'll take you there. It is good. Then, Flanders took Chen Luo to where Shrek's people were. The Shrek monsters were basically absorbing their own soul rings. When Chen Luo arrived, Zhu's Huking and Ning Rongrong had completed absorbing the soul rings one after another, and their strength had increased again. Even Xiao Wu has obtained her fourth soul ring, and everything is going very smoothly. In fact, Chen Luo has always had a doubt, and that is the time span for the Shrek monsters to increase their strength. After getting the help of Tang San's fairy herbs, the strength of all the little monsters improved rapidly, but logically speaking, it would take half a year for them to be able to reach level, one after another, but this time was shortened to 7 days. Period. It only took 7 days for them all to reach level, including Xiao Wu. This improvement is really terrifying, and it feels like it's overruling things, but it shouldn't be a big problem, and I don't see them having too many side effects. It is estimated that they will have to spend a long period of time consolidating their strength. Chen Luo thought to himself. As soon as she saw Chen Luo appear, Xiao Wu immediately came over and looked at Chen Luo with great concern. Chen Luo, are you okay? Have you obtained the fourth soul ring? Yes. After receiving Chen Luo's answer, Xiao Wu reluctantly breathed a sigh of relief, but she still looked around Chen Luo a little uneasily. After making sure that Chen Luo was not injured, she felt relieved. Chen Luo, what color is your fourth soul ring? It's probably black again, right? Dai Mubei said with a smile. Ma Hongjin immediately agreed, that's necessary. Chen Luo's third soul ring is the black 10,000-year soul ring. This fourth soul ring starts at least 2 years old. Really, Chen Luo? Yes. I'm just saying. Damn it. Is it really? A 2-year soul ring. After hearing Chen Luo's reply, Ma Hongjin didn't react for a while, and his expression soon turned into disbelief. Good brother, can you tell me how you hunted a 2-year-old soul beast by yourself? Ma Hongjin immediately approached. Chen Luo said, it's a one-on-one challenge. That's right, the King of Earth singled out him and his 2 dead soul beast brothers. Ma Hongjin swallowed and gave a thumbs up to Chen Luo. You are so perverted. I feel that the gap between us has widened again. I always feel that I will never be able to beat you in my life. When Oscar and the others heard this, they all had shocked expressions, and even Flanders and the others' expressions changed slightly. Yes, they were not surprised that Chen Luo could absorb a 2-year-old soul ring. After all, Chen Luo's third soul ring was above the, year level. After the impossible happens once, it's not so shocking the second time. So their focus was on how Chen Luo killed the 2-year-old soul beast. You were lucky last time and picked up a dying 10,000-year soul beast. You killed it to absorb the 10,000-year soul ring. It's impossible to be lucky this time and pick up a 2-year-old soul beast that is about to die, right? There are no existences like Titan apes in this place, and it is very difficult for a 2-year-old soul beast to be seriously injured. The chance of that is frighteningly low. If it were in an environment like the Stardow Forest, the chances might be higher. But in an environment like the Sunset Forest, everyone would rather believe that the 2-year-old soul beast was stretched to death than that the 2-year-old soul beast was beaten to death. Don't be so surprised. Chen Luo smiled slightly and then began to change the topic. Where's Tang San? Of course Chen Luo knew where Tang San was. At this time, Tang San should have already begun to absorb the soul ring of the 10,000 years underground demon spider near the Ice and Fire Eyes. Chapter 84 Gong's Honggang breaks through. Chen Luo and Shrek waited there for a long time. During this time, Xiao Wu told Chen Luo about their hunting of soul rings, and Chen Luo also briefly talked about his hunting of soul beasts. The process of it's a very simple one, almost eliminating the process. Obviously, Hell Demon Spider and other undead younger brothers cannot directly say that having a group of undead as younger brothers is indeed a very cool thing, but it will also bring a lot of trouble to oneself. If you can avoid it, of course you can avoid it. Xiao Wu's fourth soul ring was purple. Not all soul masters could transcend levels and absorb soul rings. There were very few exceptions like Chen Luo and Tang San. Even the purple 1000-year soul ring is the ultimate soul ring that a soul master can bear. What is the soul skill? It is naturally the invincible golden body. Even though many things have changed due to Chen Luo's arrival, many aspects will always return to their original trajectory no matter how they change. Chen Luo and Shrek waited for several hours before Tang San finally returned. Without any surprise, Tang San successfully absorbed the soul ring of the 10,000-year underground demon spider and obtained the 10,000-year soul skill blue-silver cage. At this time, a crescent moon hung in the sky, and the silver-white moonlight splashed on the earth. Everyone gathered together and immediately left Sunset Forest. All the little monsters in the Sunset Forest group have obtained their own soul rings, and their strength has been greatly improved. Their soul power levels have reached level 41. Chen Luo's soul power level is level 42, which is still ahead of everyone. There are still more than half a year before the Advanced Soul Master Academy competition. During this period, the main task of all the little monsters will be to consolidate their strength. After all, their improvement during this period has been terrifying. If they don't consolidate it properly, it may affect their future development. Chen Luo doesn't need to worry about this. He has always been the most steadfast. If it weren't for moving forward step by step, his current soul power level would be at least 50. Shrek Academy, office building. Chen Luo came to the dean's office, while Dean Flanders was filing in information. Tell me, why do you come to me? Haven't I given you the greatest authority? You can be the freest one in the academy. Flanders raised his glasses and did not look up at Chen Luo. Instead, he put down the information in his hand and covered it with a book. Chen Luo directly stated his purpose. Dean, I want to sign up for the Advanced Soul Master Academy competition. Mainly because of the side mission where you can get free rewards. If it weren't for the mission, Chen Luo wouldn't be here. In fact, Chen Luo is not particularly interested in the Advanced Soul Master Academy competition. If he really goes to participate in the competition, it is mostly just for the sentiment. Flanders frowned when he heard this. Didn't I tell you not to let you participate? I don't participate in the competition, I just have a name. If there are special circumstances, I can also make a contribution to the college. Chen Luo. Oh? I didn't realize that you have a sense of collective honor. Flanders was a little surprised. Then Dean. Okay, I agree to this. Flanders nodded, his eyes always falling on Chen Luo. Tell me, what else can you do? Flanders didn't believe that Chen Luo just came here to sign up. As expected, Chen Luo smiled slightly. Dean, I want to go out and practice some more. How long? Flanders didn't even ask Chen Luo where he planned to go. About half a year, if it's faster, 3 months. Chen Luo said, I will come back before the end of the Advanced Soul Master Academy competition. Okay, I approve it, please pay attention to your own safety. Well, I know. Then you go back. Flanders began to order the guests to be kicked out. Chen Luo nodded and left immediately. Flanders adjusted his glasses, then glanced out the window, and moved the book covering the information sheet away from the table. That information form was the registration form for the Advanced Soul Master Academy competition, and it had already been filled in with the participants from Shrek Academy. The names of the Shrek 7 monsters are naturally indispensable, and there are also some more outstanding students as substitutes, such as Tai Lung. In the last line, Chen Luo's name was also prominently included. After leaving the office, Chen Luo went directly back to the dormitory. Instead of practicing, he lay on the bed. The side mission is half done. It's only a matter of time before it's completed. Next, we have to make plans to go to the Killing City. Dean Flanders has already approved it, but it may be more difficult to negotiate with Xiao Wu. Chen Luo sorted out his thoughts in his mind, and everything went smoothly. Originally, Chen Luo thought that he would waste a lot of time with Dean Flanders before he could complete the registration and get the approval to go out for training. Unexpectedly, Flanders was so easy to talk to that he agreed directly. The biggest problem now is to talk to Xiao Wu about his going out for training. With Xiao Wu's personality, he probably wants to go along with him. Chen Luo would have absolutely no objection if he took Xiao Wu to other places. But the key point is that Chen Luo is going to the city of killing. There is an ultimate Douluo in the killing city. Even if he has the ring of death to help Xiao Wu hide his aura, if that person notices something is wrong with Xiao Wu's aura, the consequences will be immeasurable. Even if there is even a slight possibility, we can't take that risk. Chen Luo is still a little worried about his own safety. There is no problem in going to the killing city to train him, and winning Yum is just a matter of time. I'm afraid that the King of Slaughter doesn't want him to continue to win. He is not Tang Sen, nor is Yulina. He has no background. If the King of Slaughter wants to eliminate an existence that may become the god of death, it is not a casual matter. Although he was a little worried, Chen Luo was not afraid and had already made a decision. He didn't believe that he was so unlucky that he was targeted by the King of Slaughter. If the King of Slaughter does not allow the god of death to appear, then where did the god of death that appeared before in the city of Slaughter come from? If he goes alone, there should be no problem. When Xiao Wu finishes practicing today, let's have a good talk with her. I hope she can understand and accept it. I went to a distant place just to become stronger and protect her better. Chen Luo made a plan in his mind, then sat up cross-legged, ready to practice. The environment over the pit no longer plays any supporting role, and no other suitable venue for mimicry practice will be found for a while. There are many mass graves and cemeteries, but not all mass graves and cemeteries are suitable for cultivation. Instead, dormitories are the best choice. Anyway, I will be leaving in a few days, so there is no need to look for other venues. The killing city that Chen Luo is about to go to is the best training ground. People die there every day, and maybe there are also desperados at the title Douluo level. Master, I have completed my breakthrough and successfully reached the Soul Saint level. As soon as Chen Luo started practicing, Guangzhongyang's extremely excited voice suddenly sounded in his mind. Chapter 85. Under normal circumstances, it was difficult for Chen Luo to receive active contact from the undead. Because after they enter the necromantic space, they either fall into deep sleep and recover from their injuries, or they maintain a state of cultivation and improve their strength. The main reason is that the dead souls that Chen Luo had previously were all soul beasts. Even soul beasts with certain intelligence cannot communicate like humans. Guangzhongyang is different. He is a human being, and his ability to communicate is obviously better than that of hell spiders, nightmare centipedes and other dead soul beasts. After Chen Luo heard Guangzhongyang's voice, he immediately ended his cultivation state, and then immediately contacted Guangzhongyang. He did not release Guangzhongyang. That was not necessary. It would be very troublesome if it aroused the feelings of the college teachers. The same goes for communicating in the necromantic space. Chen Luo closed his eyes slightly, and his consciousness came to the space of the dead. I saw Guangzhongyang staying in his exclusive place, with an excited smile on his face, wanting to share his joy with Chen Luo as much as possible. But Chen Luo was more concerned about the 7 soul rings lingering around Guangzhongyang's body. It's 7 soul rings, yes. Guangzhongyang has really made a breakthrough and is now a soul master at the soul saint level. 6 of the 7 soul rings on Guangzhongyang's body have other colors, yellow, purple, black, and black, which are ideal soul ring combinations, and those soul rings are cast a layer of gray. Guangzhongyang's 7th soul ring is completely gray without any other colors. There was a black long sword suspended in front of Guangzhongyang. There was a blood groove on the long sword. There were many strange lines around the blood groove, which looked like extremely ugly monsters. That is Guangzhongyang's martial spirit, the demon-slaying sword. In fact, Guangzhongyang can be regarded as a genius. He is not very old, only in his 30s. There are very few soul masters who can reach the level of soul saint in their 30s. If Guangzhongyang is not dead, it is conservatively estimated that he is now a powerful man at the level of title Douluo. Maybe, it might even be a title Douluo above level 95. After all, Guangzhongyang's martial spirit is very special. Moreover, Guangzhongyang also possesses the ability of an evil soul master and can devour souls to increase his strength. Of course, if Guangzhongyang completely went astray, that would be another matter. Master, I am already at the soul saint level. Guangzhongyang said again very happily. I've already seen it. Master, I was so excited just now that it actually affected your practice. You deserve to be damned. Fine. Any soul master will be very excited and happy after a breakthrough. and he can't wait to find someone to share his joy immediately. Chen Luo understood this very well. Guangzhonggyang then smiled and said, I never thought that I could live again and complete the breakthrough to reach the Soul Saint level. This used to be a big regret of mine. When I died, I was regretting why I didn't work harder to break through the bottleneck and reach the Soul Saint level. I didn't expect that I have done it now. Thank you so much, Master, for giving me the chance to be reborn and allowing me to fulfill my regrets. Didn't you say that your descendants can resurrect you? That's just a joke to comfort myself. When I was alive, the evil soul masters had basically been destroyed. I have been dead for so many years. I guess there are no evil soul masters in this world for a long time, and there are probably no descendants. People remember the evil soul master. Guangzhonggyang said with a smile. Perhaps the evil soul master still exists. Hearing this, Guangzhonggyang was slightly startled, and then smiled. That's impossible. Okay, Master, thank you for coming over and letting me share your joy. You can continue with your business. I won't disturb you anymore. I have to continue practicing. In this special space, I feel that my soul power is increasing faster than before using the evil soul's secret method to devour souls. After saying that, Guangzhonggyang immediately entered the cultivation state. Chen Luo smiled slightly, and then looked at his other undead brothers. The Hell Demon Spider, the King of Earth, and the Pink Queen on the King of Earth are all silently increasing their strength, while the Nightmare Centipede has fallen into deep sleep. When he captured the King of Earth in the Sunset Forest, Nightmare Centipede was still seriously injured. Now he is recovering quickly, but it will take at least several days. Chen Luo didn't bother his undead brothers anymore. Even the undead were working so hard, so what reason did he have for not working hard? Withdrawing his consciousness from the dead space, Chen Luo continued to practice. In the evening, Xiao Wu came back from practicing. Chen Luo and Xiao Wu went to have dinner together and then took a walk in the college. Xiao Wu, I have something to tell you. After thinking for a long time, Chen Luo finally spoke. What's the matter? Xiao Wu blinked her big watery eyes and asked. Chen Luo said, I'm going to go outside to practice. This is a good thing, but it's a pity that I can't accompany you. We are about to participate in the Senior Soul Master Elite competition. Xiao Wu said. Chen Luo was a little surprised. He didn't expect Xiao Wu to become so reasonable all of a sudden. Xiao Wu then said, Don't worry, I will work hard. Participating in the Senior Soul Master Elite competition is the best experience for me. Unfortunately, it won't be of much help to you. When you come back, you will be able to see I am the champion of the Soul Master Elite competition. Yes. Chen Luo nodded vigorously. The two of them continued to move forward, chatting with each other. Both of them seemed to have something on their minds. Suddenly, Xiao Wu looked at Chen Luo and said, Brother Chen Luo, you have never combed my hair before. It seems so. Chen Luo gently stroked Xiao Wu's hair. Go back to the dormitory, and I will comb it for you. It's a good thing that Chen Luo is willing to go out and gain experience. The outside world is the best stage for his growth. It doesn't make much sense for him to continue to stay in the academy. Flanders and Zhao Wuji were leaning on their chairs, enjoying the wind and chatting comfortably. I think so too. That kid is really too strong. It won't take long before he grows to an extremely terrifying level. Zhao Wuji nodded, deeply convinced. Then, Zhao Wuji seemed to suddenly remember something, and asked, Dean, did you go talk to Xiao Wu in the afternoon? If Xiao Wu knew that Chen Luo was going out, he would be the first to not allow it, or he would just go with him. Walk. Yes, I have already talked to Xiao Wu, but it was not me who went to talk, it was Erlong who went there. Flanders nodded. Well, it's more appropriate for her to go. She seems to like Xiao Wu quite a lot. Yet, it's rare to see Erlong like the little doll so much. Sometimes I feel that their personalities are quite similar. Is Chen Luo leaving tomorrow? If nothing else, it should be. It's a pity. I should have had another fight with him. Are you itchy or something? How about I practice with you? Just forget it. Chapter 86 Arrival. Early morning. Xiao Wu was still asleep, but Chen Luo woke up very early and kept lying next to Xiao Wu, looking at Xiao Wu. He wanted to reach out and touch Xiao Wu's face, but finally held back. Time to go too. Chen Luo stood up carefully. There was nothing to pack, and everything he needed was in the death bracelet. Standing by the bed, he took one last look at Xiao Wu, and then his eyes fell on her somewhat messy scorpion tail. It was his work. It was his first time braiding a girl's hair, and he felt quite satisfied with it personally. After stopping for a moment, Chen Luo finally left. Not long after Chen Luo left, Xiao Wu slowly opened her eyes full of sadness and reluctance. She sat up and looked at the door. After looking at it for a long time, the complex colors in her eyes gradually disappeared. I also have to work hard to become stronger, Xiao Wu said softly, then sat cross-legged and entered the cultivation state. Small town. Chen Luo walked on the street, ignoring the coldness of the people around him, and walked straight in one direction, and finally came to a tavern. Finally reached. Chen Luo pushed the door open and walked in. He was greeted by extremely turbid air. Then he saw that the interior was almost entirely decorated in black. Even though it was daytime, stepping inside gave people a cold and dark feeling. This was already a month after Chen Luo left Shrek Academy. In this month, Chen Luo spent almost half of the month searching for the location of the killing capital, and then he drove frantically without stopping until he finally arrived. To be honest, it is really difficult to find this place without anyone to lead the way. Chen Luo was also lucky and happened to meet someone who knew about it, otherwise he might still be in the process of searching for the location of the killing capital. There were very few people in the tavern. They were all silent, sitting in their seats and drinking silently. Most of them had a glass of blood-red wine in their hands. Chen Luo knew that it was Bloody Mary. After entering the tavern, Chen Luo did not go looking for a place to sit down. He went straight to the counter. The waiter at the counter naturally noticed Chen Luo at this time, and he immediately asked, "What do you need?" The waiter was in his 30s, dressed in black, with a relatively ordinary appearance. His eyes were bloodshot, and he looked as if he hadn't slept for a long time. His voice was magnetic and made people feel comfortable. Chen Luo shook his head slightly. "There's nothing you want." "Okay." The waiter was a little surprised, but the surprise on his face quickly disappeared, as if he understood Chen Luo's purpose. "You'll find what you need here," the waiter said. Chen Luo didn't mince words anymore and said directly, "I want to go to the killing city." The waiter responded calmly without any surprise at this time, "You are not qualified." "What makes me qualified enough to kill you?" Chen Luo said calmly, and then added, "Or do you want to kill everyone here?" The waiter laughed, and so did everyone else drinking in the tavern, including a thin man who laughed heartily. However, the thin man's laughter did not last long, because after a few breaths, his head was pressed into the table. No one saw clearly how Chen Luo came behind the thin man. None of them could react. They saw the thin man's head pressed into the table. The stone table made of granite instantly had a huge dent. There were cracks all around, and the blood quickly overflowed and was submerged in the cracks. The smell of blood filled the air, making the air in the tavern even more turbid. The laughter stopped suddenly, and the entire tavern fell into deathly silence. Some people still have a smile on their face, but they are extremely stiff, as if their whole person has instantly turned into a sculpture. "Are you qualified enough?" Chen Luo walked slowly towards the counter and looked at the waiter calmly. The waiter was sweating profusely and his body was trembling slightly. "Enough, enough. Open the entrance," Chen Luo said calmly. The waiter acted immediately. He walked to the side of the counter and seemed to be pressing a switch or something, but his hands were shaking so badly that he failed to press it several times. Finally, the waiter turned on the switch, and the counter slowly lifted up, revealing a dark hole. "It's finally opened." The waiter breathed a sigh of relief, half of his clothes soaked with cold sweat. Chen Luo stood in front of the cave entrance and looked at it for a few seconds. The cold wind blew up from the bottom of the cave. There seemed to be another world there, a world only of darkness, where all light would be swallowed up. Chen Luo jumped directly into it. After confirming that Chen Luo had gone in, the waiter immediately turned off the switch, the counter dropped again, and everything returned to calm. The waiter kept patting his chest and gasping for air. Others in the tavern continued to drink. None of them mocked the waiter for being timid. Their hands holding the wine glasses were trembling slightly. The thin man's head was still submerged in the table, no one cared about it, and no one looked at it. "That kid is so powerful. Xiao is a soul sect." After a long time, someone finally started talking. When one person spoke, the others also became excited. "Looking at how young he is, I originally wanted to get some benefits from him, but luckily I didn't do anything stupid like that. But having said that, Xiao deserves to die." That guy did many unscrupulous things. I heard that he killed his entire family. What good things can come from being able to drink here? Everyone here is the same. You don't have to say it so directly. Ho ha ho ha. Ha ho ha ho ha. They all laughed again, but this time the waiter didn't laugh. Entering the darkness and falling only a few meters, Chen Luo was already down to earth. No light is needed. Chen Luo's perception is extremely strong, and the road ahead has already appeared in his mind. But it is only limited to sensing the road ahead and cannot detect the situation too far away. As long as it exceeds a certain range, there seems to be a special power to isolate everything. This is a long corridor, extending diagonally downward, and a cold breath is constantly blowing. Chen Luo didn't care about this and walked forward. Everything exactly matched what he remembered. What he had to do now was to keep moving forward until he saw the killing city. Welcome to the city of killing. This is the capital of hell, a world full of killing. Here, you can get everything you want, at the cost of your life. A cold voice came from all directions, but Chen Luo didn't pay any attention and continued to move forward. After turning a corner, Chen Luo saw the light. Looking closely, there was a door in the light. In front of the gate, there is a group of soldiers wearing black armor guarding it, and only one person is riding a tall war horse. Chapter 87. Everything is on the right track. Chen Luo didn't pay attention to those black armored knights and walked straight forward. He had already seen the outline of the killing city, which was a black city with extremely wide black walls. Looking up, he could see a purple moon hanging in the sky. Everything matched what he remembered again, and he didn't go to the wrong place. However, after Chen Luo took a few steps, he was stopped by the black armored knight. Welcome to the city of killing. Since you have violated the rules, if you want to enter the city of killing, you must defeat me first. The black armored knight's voice was extremely cold, and it didn't even sound like it was coming from a human mouth. Chen Luo frowned slightly when he heard this, and couldn't help but thought to himself, I didn't kill anyone randomly, so why did I break the rules? It was the waiter who said I was not qualified, so I proved it. Is this also against the rules? So what are the rules for riding a horse? If I had known this, I would have been so polite to you. I would have killed everyone just like Tang did in the killing city. They're all the ones who deserve to be killed anyway. It doesn't matter, we are already here anyway, so let nature take its course. Since the guy in front of me is looking for death, then let him do it. Chen Luo didn't talk nonsense and took action directly. He moved very quickly and arrived in front of the black armored knight's horse almost instantly. Without any fancy punch, the horse's head was blown open and the tall horse's body fell to the ground. Before the black armored knight had time to react, his neck was strangled tightly, and then his whole body was dragged and slammed towards the ground. Boom! A deep pit was created on the ground, and the black armored knight immediately lost his combat effectiveness. He had countless broken bones, and blood continued to overflow from his mouth. The battle is over before it begins. Chen Luo took out an identity card from the black armored knight, then took the identity card and walked towards the killing city. A black armored soldier came to the black armored knight. Without any hesitation, he stabbed the black armored knight directly into the chest with his long sword, completely ending the black armored knight's life. The pitch black city gate gave people an extremely depressing feeling. On the huge city gate hung the word Slaughter Capital. When Chen Luo came to the door opened automatically and Chen Luo strode in. As soon as he entered the city gate, a woman in black gauze came to Chen Luo's side. Chen Luo was not surprised. He would have been even more surprised if the woman in black gauze had not appeared. Only when everything matches up can you rest assured. The existence of the woman in black gauze is similar to the guiding spirit in the game. She gave Chen Luo a brief introduction to the killing city, and Chen Luo listened attentively. Until it comes to the killing fields of hell. Chen Luo said directly, take me to the killing fields of hell. You sure? The woman in black gauze was very surprised, and then specially introduced the hell killing field to Chen Luo. Chen Luo became a little impatient when he heard this, and urged, hurry up and lead the way. He is not a villain, and he did not come to the city of killing to seek refuge. He didn't want to come to the killing city to enjoy it, even though he had the strength. He came here for the system mission and the god of killing field. To be honest, he was still in a bit of a hurry. With a woman in black veil arriving at the inner city of the killing city, this place can be regarded as the real killing city. Chen Luo was not in the mood to appreciate the chaotic scene here, so he asked the woman in black veil to lead the way, and soon arrived at the killing field of hell. On the way to the Hell-Killing Fields, the woman in black gauze had introduced the rules of the Hell-Killing Fields to Chen Luo in great detail. In fact, Chen Luo still had an impression of those rules, but it was obviously better to confirm them again. Okay, you can go. Chen Luo didn't need any protection from the woman in black gauze. The only role of the woman in black gauze was to lead the way. Now that the mission of the woman in black gauze was completed, there was no need for her to exist. You sure? With these 3 words again, the woman in black gauze seemed unable to understand Chen Luo's behavior. Chen Luo ignored the woman in black gauze and walked straight towards the killing field of hell. At this time, there were many people walking towards the hell-killing fields. Chen Luo grabbed one of them and unceremoniously snatched a Bloody Mary from their hands, which was the ticket to enter the hell-killing fields. With the Bloody Mary, Chen Luo successfully entered the killing field of hell. When standing outside, what Chen Luo saw in the killing fields of hell was a very special building. Just like in my memory, it is a non-standard cone shape, getting smaller and smaller as you go up. The whole thing is black, giving people a very depressing feeling. After entering the hell-killing fields, the situation inside was much simpler than it looked outside. There is no isolation, the periphery is a circle of stands extending upwards, and below is a huge empty field with a diameter of more than, square meters. In terms of the area of this hell-killing field, it is similar to the Soto Grand Soul Fighting Arena, but in terms of the decoration inside, it can only be said that it is not even comparable to the toilets in the Soto Grand Spirit Arena. Even so, it does not prevent countless people from venting their madness here. There were a lot of people watching the battle, each one more crazy than the other, some shouting loudly, some yelling angrily, and the place was filled with all kinds of negative emotions. Crazy and violent seemed to be the special words here. A battle of 10 people is going on below, 8 people have fallen forever, and 2 more are in the final battle. Not long after, one of the 2 fell down, and the last one successfully survived, which also meant that he won this game. But his appearance was not much better. There were hideous wounds all over his body. He was seriously injured, and it was estimated that he would not be able to recover for 10 days and a half. Even so, the man's face was filled with a smile exclusive to the winner, and he was getting crazier, as if he had seen a bright future for himself. This place is really disgusting. Stop it now and leave. Chen Luo disliked the environment of the killing city very much, especially after arriving at the killing fields of hell. This place is like a large coliseum, except that people are fighting in it. It's also like a slaughterhouse, where people are being slaughtered. Chen Luo quickly completed the registration. For his own goal, he could only reluctantly be the executioner. And everyone here deserves to be killed. There is nothing to sympathize with. People who are not full of sin will not come to such a place. Except for people like him who come specifically to the realm of killing gods. Chen Luo's first battle started quickly. His other 9 opponents were all very tall and powerful, and he looked a little out of place among them. Their bodies were somewhat stained with blood, and each of them was full of evil spirits. Chen Luo looked very clean. Not only his clothes were clean, but he was also clean. The battle soon began. After a few seconds, the battle was over. Chen Luo attacked indiscriminately and killed all his opponents. Not knocking him down, but killing him directly. Chapter 88. Late at night. Chen Luo had just finished his 5th game and walked out of the killing field of hell. In fact, he still has enough physical strength to continue fighting, but here he must ensure his absolute safety before he can continue fighting in the killing fields of hell. There are many insidious guys waiting outside the hell-killing fields for the exhausted victor to come out after fighting in the hell-killing fields, and then kill them extremely cruelly. There is always danger here. When your fist is not strong enough, you will be stepped on by others. Walking on the streets of the killing city, Chen Luo was about to find a place to rest. The city was more prosperous than he imagined, but behind the feasting was the carnival of a group of criminals who ignored the rules. Looking back on his 5 battles in the hell-killing fields, Chen Luo is quite satisfied with his own strength. Even if he cannot use martial arts to fight, his physical fitness in all aspects is far beyond that of ordinary people. His terrifying strength and extreme speed are his winning capital. I haven't encountered a strong opponent yet, maybe because I haven't participated in too few competitions. The most powerful person I encountered in those 5 battles was probably at the Soul King level. Even the Soul King Chen Luo, who used soul power, was able to pin him to the ground and beat him violently, let alone the Soul King who couldn't use soul power. As they were walking, suddenly, There was some commotion in front of them, at least dozens of people surrounded there, and screams continued to be heard from among them. Chen Luo's eyes were instantly attracted, but he only glanced at it lightly. It is too common for situations like this to happen in the killing city. Looking at the situation, it is estimated that a few unlucky ones will leave this beautiful world tonight. But just when Chen Luo was about to take a detour, a black figure walked out of the crowd and rushed towards Chen Luo. Save me. As long as you are willing to save me, my life is yours. The man was a man in his 50s, with a thin build and about the same height as Chen Luo. His body was covered with hideous wounds, and his face was covered with horrific scars. Those scars seemed to have existed for a long time. The scar-faced man was like a drowning man, trying to grab something to save his life as much as possible, but the people around him had already dispersed, and Chen Luo happened to be standing there, so he came straight towards Chen Luo. Chen Luo frowned slightly. He didn't want to care about such nonsense. He couldn't care about other people's life and death, and he didn't want to care about it. The people who come here are not good people, but there are not so many people like him who come to the city of killing specifically to challenge the Hell Road and obtain the killing god domain. Basically, they are all desperados who come here to seek refuge. Of course, Chen Luo couldn't care about the conflict between the desperados. These guys were the ones who deserved to die. Like those people, Chen Luo silently moved out of the way, but the scar-faced man seemed to recognize Chen Luo and knelt directly in front of Chen Luo, wanting to reach out and hug Chen Luo's legs. Chen Luo immediately dodged away and glanced at the scar-faced man with disgust. He almost wanted to take action to deal with this guy. At this time, several people rushed out from the crowd again. Each of them was tall, burly, and imposing, which was in sharp contrast to the thin and frail man with the scar face. None of them had any nonsense. After seeing Chen Luo, they just looked at Chen Luo indifferently, and then continued to attack the scar-faced man. But at this moment, Chen Luo took action. He took a step forward, kicked a burly man over, and then knocked over another burly man with a punch. After the other people saw Chen Luo's strength, they immediately retreated, their eyes full of confusion and anger. Period. Boy, I advise you not to mind your own business, he is not a good person, said a burly man. Chen Luo smiled calmly, those who come here are not good people. You guys go, I've killed enough people today, I don't want to kill any more for the time being. The burly man's eyes widened with anger, but he did not take action. Instead, he waved his hand to signal the others to leave without even saying harsh words. The conflict ended there. No need to pretend, tell me, what do you want from me? Chen Luo turned around and looked at the scar-faced man on the ground calmly. The scar-faced man's condition was not optimistic. The wounds on his body were constantly overflowing with blood, and his breath was getting weaker and weaker. It seemed that he might pass away in the next second. And just after Chen Luo spoke, the scar-faced man's wounds healed instantly. His aura gradually became stronger, and an evil smile appeared on his scar-covered face. If I had known you were so smart, I wouldn't have had to suffer like that. The scar-faced man stood up and patted the dust on his body gently. I was so stupefied, it hurts me to death. I originally thought this would have some effect on you, but it turned out that I was stupid. My name is Gongzhongfei, and you have the aura of my brother Gongzhonggang. After cursing a few words, Gongzhongfei directly introduced himself and told the reason why he was looking for Chen Luo. Oh, Gongzhongfei. Chen Luo smiled, evil soul master. Don't talk nonsense. My brother is, but I am not. Gongzhongfei said calmly. Chen Luo, your brother is dead. I know this. I watched him die, so I'm even more curious as to why I can feel my brother's aura from you. Gongzhongfei had a faint smile on his face and kept looking at Chen Luo. A smile is a very beautiful thing, but when displayed on Gongzhongfei's scarred face, it looks a little scary. Gongzhongfei spoke very directly, without any twists and turns. The same goes for Chen Luo, I revived him. Wake. Gongzhongfei sneered, isn't it more appropriate to use resurrection? Isn't that the exclusive trick of evil soul masters? I am not an evil soul master. Chen Luo said calmly. Gongzhongfei nodded lightly, I know this. You don't have the aura of an evil soul master on you. Even if I haven't seen those disgusting guys for decades, I still remember those auras, just like I always remember the same breath as my stupid brother. I originally planned to go step by step, first establish a good relationship with you, and then get those things out of you bit by bit. I didn't expect you to be so smart. Very good. Guang's Huangfei licked his chapped lips, and then reached out to touch the scars on his face. He seemed to be enjoying it, and then he said, "Can I see him?" "We have to ask for his opinion," Chen Luo said. "Elder brother is like father, I have the final say, no need to ask him." Guang's Huangfei smiled and said, "That boy has always listened to my words since he was a child. But when he was in his 20s, he suddenly suffered a brain twitch and actually got together with the evil soul master. He deserves to be killed and buried." Guang's Huangfei's smile is really ugly. When he smiles, the scars on his face are all squeezed together, making people feel goosebumps all over their bodies after seeing it. "It's hard to believe how those scars came about," Chen Luo said. He agreed. Hearing this, Guang's Huangfei paused for a moment, and then immediately said, "Where are the others? If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelists. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels." Chapter 89 Gong's Hongfei. Even though there were only 3 words in the sentence, Chen Luo could still hear the trembling and excitement in Gong's Hongfei's voice. "Chen Luo, do you know any safer place here?" Hearing this, Guang's Huangfei immediately understood what Chen Luo meant and said immediately, "Follow me." After saying that, Guang's Huangfei took a step forward. His speed was extremely fast. Perhaps he was worried that Chen Luo wouldn't be able to keep up. He even looked back at Chen Luo. Of course, Chen Luo was able to follow Gong's Hongfei steadily. Finally, under the leadership of Gong's Hongfei, the two of them came to a remote corner of the inner city of the killing capital. There is a small, dilapidated-looking building here, with 2 floors in total. Its appearance is no different from an ordinary building, but it is a bit dilapidated and has obvious signs of being lived in. It cannot be said to be a dangerous building. Guang's Huangfei took Chen Luo into the small building and went directly to the 2nd floor. Whether it is the 1st or 2nd floor, they are all decorated very simply, and there are not many kinds of furniture inside, making it look very empty. After arriving on the 2nd floor, Guang's Huangfei immediately unleashed all his momentum. A blood-red longsword appeared in his hand. The shape was very similar to Gong's Hongyang's Wuhan longsword. There was a blood groove on the sword body, and there were many strange lines around the blood groove. Looking like extremely ugly monsters. 2 yellow, 2 purple and 5 black, a total of 9 soul rings slowly rose from Guang's Hongfei's feet. Compared to the dazzling bloody sword in Gong's Hongfei's hand, the 9 soul rings emitting faint light were what really caught Chen Luo's attention. Title Douluo. On the way here, Chen Luo had already roughly guessed Gong's Hongfei's strength, but when he saw it, he was still a little surprised. After activating his martial spirit, the pressure from the title Douluo burst out from Guang's Hongfei, but Gong's Hongfei seemed to have deliberately controlled his aura, and not much pressure fell on Chen Luo. "I'm going to open the Killing God realm. You should be prepared first. I'm afraid you won't be able to bear it later," Guang's Hongfei reminded. Chen Luo nodded lightly. Chen Luo was not surprised that Gong's Hongfei had the realm of the God of Death. Except for those selected by the King of Killing, the only people who can release their martial souls and use their soul power in the City of Killing are those who have won the title of God of Killing and have the domain of God of Killing. Chen Luo could clearly see white lines emerging on the bloody sword in Gong's Hongfei's hand, followed by extremely terrifying murderous intent. A cold feeling came from his soul instantly, and the terrifying oppression made Chen Luo breathless for a moment. The Death God's armor was automatically released, which offset the discomfort caused by the Death God realm. "You are really extraordinary, boy." Guang's Hongfei's eyes fell on the death armor on Chen Luo, with a faint smile on his face. After activating the Killing God realm, a white barrier was released from Guang's Hongfei's body, covering Chen Luo, as if the entire house was enveloped in it. "It's safe enough, let me see him." Guang's Hongfei seemed impatient, his eyes full of expectation. Chen Luo nodded lightly, "Okay." As Chen Luo's voice fell, a black light bloomed from Chen Luo's side, and then Gong's Hongyang's body appeared. As soon as Gong's Hongyang appeared, he immediately rushed towards Gong's Hongfei, and the 2 brothers hugged each other tightly. "Brother, long time no see. You silly boy actually came to life." The 2 brothers Gong's Hongfei and Gong's Hongyang burst into tears instantly, and they both looked extremely excited. "Brother, have you avenged me?" Guangzhongyang asked. Guangzhongfei smiled and nodded. Of course, the second year after your death, I broke through to the level of title Douluo, killed him with one sword, and then came here to take refuge. Have you been living here? Guangzhongyang obviously noticed something and asked immediately. Guangzhongfei grinned. Yes, I walked through the road to hell here, obtained the title of God of Killing and the domain of God of Killing, and have been living here ever since. It's been so many years, you can definitely live in the outside world. Guangzhongyang looked very distressed. Guangzhongfei smiled and said, you are dead, so it will be the same to me no matter where you live. Brother, I have broken through to the Soul Saint level. Guangzhongyang said. Hearing this, Guangzhongfei looked surprised and surprised. Oh? Really? Let me see quickly. Then Guangzhongyang activated his martial spirit, and a black long sword appeared in Guangzhongyang's hand. 2 yellow, 2 purple, 2 black and 1 gray, a total of 7 soul rings rose from Guangzhongyang's feet. Guangzhongfei's eyes narrowed slightly after seeing him, but a smile suddenly broke out on his face. Not bad, very good. He is indeed my Guangzhongfei's younger brother. Brother, this is my master Chen Luo. After reminiscing about old times, Guangzhongyang began to introduce Chen Luo. Owner. Guangzhongfei frowned slightly when he heard this, but he soon felt relieved and nodded lightly. Guangzhongyang continued, brother, he is not an evil soul master. His ability is far beyond that of an evil soul master. It was because of him that I was able to be resurrected, break through my own limits, and reach the Soul Saint level. As long as he lives, I can live. Because of him, I can continue to become stronger and regenerate. In short, there are many benefits. Guangzhongfei smiled calmly. I know your kid's thoughts. You don't need to say so many nice things. If I want to kill him, it won't be your turn to speak. There are conditions for my life here. I can't do anything casually. Guangzhongyang immediately said, you can't do anything after you get out, unless you step on my body first. Look at your worthless appearance. Guangzhongfei glared at Guangzhongyang. I never said I wanted to kill him. After saying that, Guangzhongfei looked at Chen Luo. Little brother, you don't have to stay here all the time. You can go out for a walk. I am a more casual person. My house is very messy and not suitable for you to live in. Go out and have a look. Is there many good places to live can be easily obtained based on your strength? I believe that my brother can maintain this state even if he leaves you. Of course, I am not asking you to hand over Guangzhongyang to me directly. Even if you agree, this guy will not agree. He just wants to make peace with you. He reminisced about old times. Chen Luo nodded lightly. I understand. In fact, there is no need to say so much. The two brothers have not seen each other for decades and they definitely want to have a good chat. Chen Luo also knows that as an outsider, he is not suitable to stay here. He is just waiting for Guangzhongfei to issue an eviction order. After leaving Guangzhongfei's home, Chen Luo re-entered the bustling streets of the Killing City, searched around randomly, and soon found a pretty good place to live. It seems that this trip has been fruitful. I never expected that there would be such an unexpected gain as Guangzhongfei. I believe in Guangzhongyang's persuasion ability. I estimate that when I leave the Killing City, I will have a powerful title Douluo level person by my side. The better the relationship between the two brothers, the safer I will be. It's a pity that Guangzhongyang's brother is not dead, otherwise the two brothers will be reunited after they wake up, and I will be safer. Chen Luo threw away the old bed in the house together with the original owner of the house, and now he was lying on the new bed he just got, his thoughts and his heart constantly wandering. Chapter 90 Let nature take its course. It was already the next morning when Guangzhongyang came back. He had a special connection with Chen Luo. No matter where Chen Luo was, Guangzhongyang could find him, and vice versa. After a night's rest, Chen Luo's energy was at its best. After seeing Guangzhongyang, Chen Luo was a little surprised. Why are you back so early? Chen Luo asked. He thought that Guangzhongyang and Guangzhongfei would stay until he cleared the hell-killing fields. Guangzhongyang smiled and said, it's not too early. We have been chatting all night. Besides, the days are long. What does this mean? Chen Luo asked in surprise. In fact, he had guessed what this was going to be and had predicted it last night. When he actually heard the relevant news, he was still a little surprised. There are also some surprises. My brother promised to leave the Killing City with us. Guangzhongyang said with a smile. Oh? This is a good thing. Chen Luo nodded. This is of course a good thing. If nothing else happens, after he leaves the killing city, he will always be followed by a powerful titled Douluo level man. It seems you haven't finished speaking, please continue. Chen Luo said. Guang's Hongyang smiled slightly. He can always follow you for me, but there are two conditions. Chen Luo nodded slightly when he heard the words, speak directly. It's normal to have conditions, but it would be strange if there are no conditions. A strong man at the level of a titled Douluo, and also possesses the realm of the god of death, cannot just follow others just for the so-called brotherhood. Guang's Hongyang immediately spoke. Condition 1, you must get out of the killing city. This is inevitable. If we can't get out, everything will be empty talk. Chen Luo said. Condition 2, if he dies, you have to resuscitate him. When Gong's Hongyang mentioned the second condition, a faint smile appeared on his face unconsciously. Chen Luo was a little surprised. Does this count as a condition? Guang's Hongyang shrugged. Everyone is afraid of death, but my brother is afraid of death, so he has been hiding here. Everyone would be crazy about the possibility of eternal life, and my brother is no exception, even if he exists as an undead spirit. Chen Luo nodded. Both of these conditions are fine. Well, I'll tell my brother later. Guang's Hongyang said, looking straight at Chen Luo after speaking. What's wrong? You're not going to accompany your brother? Guang's Hongyang shook his head, and then said with a smile, Master, I want to return to the space of the dead. Well, it turns out that this is Gong's Hongyang's true purpose. Chen Luo agreed to Gong's Hongyang's request and did not need him to control it. Gong's Hongyang stepped into the dead space by himself. Until Gong's Hongyang disappeared in front of him, Chen Luo still felt a little unreal. Is Gong's Hongfei really that easy to talk to? Chen Luo has complete trust in Gong's Hongyang. His awakened undead souls will never betray him. Even if they have the slightest idea, they will be completely destroyed before they can be put into practice without Chen Luo taking action. It was out of complete trust that Chen Luo came into contact with Gong's Hongfei. In fact, when Chen Luo saw Gong's Hongfei for the first time, he had already received a reminder from Guang's Hongyang. It was only after Gong's Hongyang's affirmative reply that Chen Luo went to deal with Gong's Hongfei. If he didn't have absolute certainty, Chen Luo wouldn't take that kind of risk. When others find out that you made his brother into a dead soul, their first reaction will be anger. Chen Luo's vigilance is not unreasonable. And everything that happened after that was smoother than Chen Luo imagined. Guang's Hongfei never showed any murderous intention from beginning to end, and always seemed very calm, except after seeing Gong's Hongyang. Chen Luo has always been very sensitive to these aspects. If Gong's Hongfei wanted to kill him, he would react immediately, call all his brothers out, and let Gong's Hongyang and Gong's Hongfei brothers facing each other. Fortunately, none of those situations occurred, and everything seemed very peaceful. In Chen Luo's analysis, the main reason why Gong's Hongfei was not angry was still because of Gong's Hongyang. Apart from brotherly love, Gong's Hongfei also knows the identity of his brother the Evil Soul Master, and Gong's Hongfei knows all the tricks of the Evil Soul Master. Precisely because he knew that, Gong's Hongfei was not surprised that his brother stood in front of him again, and he could accept it calmly, and even had some expectations before this. These are only part of the reasons, and Gong's Hongfei himself also said some of the reasons. In this city of killing, he needs to follow some agreements and cannot do anything at will. It is obvious that he has reached some kind of agreement with the king of killing to be able to live here all the time. Otherwise, the god of killing who owns the god of killing domain is too great a threat to the city of killing. If Chen Luo were the king of killing, he would not tolerate such an existence staying in his territory, or would find a way to expel it. Or complete erasure. Although it sounds nice, beings who have the title of god of death can freely enter and exit the city of killing. In fact, as long as they have the realm of god of killing, they are not welcome in the city of killing, especially the king of killing, who regards them as extremely important. Big threat. Of course, Chen Luo would not be so naive as to use these reasons to fill the doubts in his heart. There must be many other reasons for this, but he couldn't see it for a while, and Gong's Hongfei wouldn't let him see it. Even Gong's Hongyang, as his younger brother, could tell. Otherwise, if Gong's Hongyang knew, it would be equivalent to Chen Luo knowing. No matter what, it would be nice to have a titled Douluo following him. There is no strong sense of security, or even no sense of security. After all, this titled Douluo is not the undead spirit that Chen Luo awakened, and may betray him at any time. But things have reached this point, and we can only choose to accept it, let nature take its course, and think about everything for the better. Even if Chen Luo had not been influenced by Gongzhonggang and had not contacted Gongzhongfei, Guangzhongfei would have tried every means to come to him. These things were inevitable since Chen Luo entered the killing city, and they would happen sooner or later. Chen Luo also didn't expect that when he came to the killing city, he would be lucky enough to witness a reunion of brothers. The result can be considered good or bad, but no matter what, you have to accept it. Hopefully, everything is developing in a good direction. Guangzhonggang worked harder than Chen Luo imagined. Maybe he was stimulated by his brother Gongzhongfei. My brother has already been entitled Douluo, and I have just broken through to Soul Saint. There is no comparison and no harm. There are opportunities for improvement, so of course I have to seize them as much as possible. Chen Luo also knew a little about Gongzhonggang's inner thoughts, and didn't even need to check them deliberately. Chen Luo rarely checks the thoughts of his undead. Usually, they will take the initiative to report any situation. Also because of the special connection between them, Chen Luo can be considered to know them very well. It's another new day. Let's have a simple breakfast first, and then continue to fight in the hell-killing fields. Chen Luo no longer took these things to heart. He always remembered his true purpose of coming to the killing city. Chapter 91 Hell Death. Crack. The door was pushed open and Chen Luo returned to his residence. He had many obvious wounds on his body, which were not serious and were still recovering quickly. The impact on Chen Luo was not great. Tomorrow is the last day. If you win one more game, you can complete 100 consecutive victories. You can challenge the Hell Road right away and leave this hellish place. Chen Luo lay on his bed and breathed a long sigh of relief. Even though there were still many wounds on his body that were constantly leaking blood, he didn't care at all. He believed in his body. He suffered a serious injury a few days ago, but he still recovered as before the next day. His body's recovery ability is still extremely strong. You don't need to worry about some small wounds at all. Even injuries with deep bones visible are not serious injuries. The wounds will heal automatically in a short time. This is why Chen Luo has been running rampant in the killing fields of hell. This was already a month after Chen Luo came to the killing city. During this month, he fought crazily almost every day, at least 2 battles, and at most 5 battles a day. The result, of course, was a complete victory, and the loser has now become part of the blood pool in the killing city. In addition to the battles in the hell-killing fields, Chen Luo was forced to kill in the killing capital for a long time. Those crazy guys couldn't bear to see that a guy as powerful as Chen Luo existed in the killing city. For more than 10 days, they launched a crazy attack on Chen Luo the moment he walked out of the killing field of hell. Even if Chen Luo is walking back, he still has to be careful of the ambush of many desperados. Each of them is more crazy than the other, and they seem to be unwilling to put Chen Luo to death. Even in such a harsh environment, Chen Luo still survived and lived well every day. The days full of killings did not last long. Most people were afraid of death. They knew that there was no way to save him. After Chen Luo killed him, they all gave up the idea of killing Chen Luo. For many people, finding trouble with Chen Luo is tantamount to seeking death. After getting through those relatively difficult days, Chen Luo has lived a very peaceful and comfortable life in the following days until now. Compared with a life filled with madness and violence in the killing city, it seems a bit out of place. Chen Luo didn't know how many people he had killed. He was a little numb. He seemed to have become an executioner without any emotion, or it might be more appropriate to describe him as a killing machine. His willpower has always been very firm. Even though the murderous aura in his body became stronger and stronger as each enemy fell, it never affected his mind. He always maintained a calm attitude. In this hellish place, it's really impossible without a certain amount of willpower. Even if you are strong, you can easily be contaminated by the turbidity here and fall into the abyss. As the saying goes, one thought of hell, one thought of heaven. This is probably the case. It's easy to become a devil, but it's extremely difficult to stay true to your heart. Boom thump, thump thump. There was a sudden knock on the door, but the sound that followed from outside the door did not make Chen Luo nervous, and even relaxed him a little. It's me. Guangzhongfei's voice has only come 3 times in this month, and today is the 3rd time. Chen Luo didn't bother to get up. Come in. The door opened and Gongzhongfei came in. Only Chen Luo could make a title Douluo so polite. Without much communication, Chen Luo directly released Gongzhonggang. In fact, Guangzhongyang was quite reluctant. He was practicing hard in the necromantic space and didn't like his brother's arrival at all. Even though he was a little emotional in his heart, when he saw his brother, Guangzhongyang immediately showed a smile. "Brother, you are here." Guangzhongfei's eyes were always on Chen Luo. "I'm here to see you today." The smile on Guangzhongyang's face instantly faded, and then he immediately said, "Master, did you hear that? My brother is here to see you, so I will go back first." Chen Luo nodded, feeling a little funny in his heart. The brotherly love that existed a month ago has faded so quickly. We have only seen each other a few times, and I don't even want to look at them anymore. Guangzhongyang immediately returned to the space of the dead and entered the cultivation state without any delay. This guy's training speed is also very fast, and he will probably reach level 72 in a short time. He should have been a genius in his life, but he took a wrong path. What's the matter with me? Chen Luo had already arrived at the only table in the room and pulled out the only chair. When Guangzhongfei saw this, he thought it was prepared for him and walked over. But Chen Luo sat on it himself and poured a glass of water. Well, it was also for himself. "Tell me, what's the matter?" Chen Luo always speaks so directly and doesn't like so many twists and turns. Guangzhongfei said, "Congratulations in advance for winning the title of God of Killing. I will wait for you outside the killing city in 3 days. Are you so confident in me? I can only say that the strength you have shown makes me trust you more." Guangzhongfei said, "You are the first and probably the only person to complete 100 consecutive victories in the hell killing fields in such a short period of time. If nothing happens, and there is no chance of an accident, you will go through it smoothly. The road to hell, and then obtain the title of God of Death, and the realm of God of Death. You should know something about the realm of the God of Death, right?" "Yes." Chen Luo nodded. Guangzhongfei, "Then I don't need to introduce you too much. Your strength is no problem in walking out of the hell. If you walk out of the killing city first, then wait for me first. I still have some things to deal with here. It will take at most 3 days to handle everything, and 3 days later is the time we agreed on." Chen Luo nodded gently. "Okay." There was no expression on Guangzhongfei's scarred face, but some expectation could be seen in his eyes. "That's all I have to say, let's go first. I hope I can go outside the killing city. I have already seen your figure." After saying that, Guangzhongfei's figure disappeared. The door of Chen Luo's room also closed automatically. Guangzhongfei was very polite when he came in, and he was still very polite when he left. He even knew to close the door. There's one last game left. Chen Luo took a sip of water and then lay back on the bed. The next morning. In fact, there is not much concept of time in the city of killing. Apart from the purple crescent moon, there is endless darkness over the city of killing. Chen Luo can only roughly judge the time of day through his own sleeping habits. After finishing a simple wash and eating a simple breakfast, Chen Luo walked directly towards the hell-killing fields. What Chen Luo didn't expect was that the streets that used to be peaceful were actually filled with people, and they all seemed to be waiting for him to come out. After seeing Chen Luo, those people all shouted in unison, "Hell's death! Hell's death!" The sound was so loud that it seemed to resound throughout the entire killing city. Chen Luo was slightly surprised, but he didn't pay too much attention and continued to move forward. Chapter 92 The Last Battle. Chen Luo didn't know when he got the title of the God of Death from Hell. It was probably because the desperados regarded him as the God of Death. During that time, they were killing people like a machine that harvested lives. As for the title of God of Death, Chen Luo felt that it was quite appropriate. After all, his martial spirit was the God of Death. Unconsciously, today is Chen Luo's first match in the hell-killing fields. As long as he wins this match and completes 100 consecutive victories, he will have the opportunity to challenge the Hell Road. Arriving at the hell-killing fields, Chen Luo quickly found his match. Originally, there were game restrictions in the hell-killing fields. Only people with a difference of about 5 games and game wins could be matched into a game. Now this rule has been changed because of Chen Luo. The main reason is that Chen Luo can no longer match his opponent. Even though there are many people in the killing city, there are not many people who can persist in participating in the hell-killing fields competition, and even fewer people have to win so many games. In this match, the most powerful one only had, consecutive victories. There was a huge gap with Chen Luo's number of wins, but that didn't mean that the opponent's strength was the same. At this time, Chen Luo and his 9 opponents had entered the killing field of hell. Before the battle even started, half of the people were already trembling, and their reactions were not exaggerated, because they were about to face death, and everyone was instinctively afraid when facing death. They can only blame their bad luck for being matched with Chen Luo, the god of death from hell. After everyone came to the field, Chen Luo was alone, and the other 9 people immediately hugged the group. Everyone knew that if Chen Luo did not fall, then they would all fall. Chen Luo was already in this game situation many days ago. He had won too much, was too strong, and was inevitably targeted by his opponents. But no matter how hard he targets, there is only one outcome for his opponent, and that is death. Without much verbal exchange, the battle started quickly. The other 9 people immediately rushed towards Chen Luo from different directions. They were all very desperate because they all knew that this was their only chance to attack, and none of the 9 people could attack at the same time. If Chen Luo is solved, they will be the ones to be solved later. Chen Luo stood there with a calm face, opened his big hands, and the death scythe appeared in his hands. Although he could not use soul skills, the martial soul could still be summoned. The death scythe is undoubtedly a useful weapon. Chen Luo has always been confident in his own strength, but when he came to the killing fields of hell, he still did not dare to have any reservations. When the 9 enemies came to a certain range around Chen Luo started to take action. Chen Luo's speed was extremely fast, leaving shadows everywhere he passed. In just a few breaths, he passed by 5 people. In an instant, blood mist rose, and the 5 opponents who were frightened as soon as they came on the stage were cut into pieces and died suddenly on the spot. The other 4 people retreated quickly, maintaining a safe distance from Chen Luo. Among those 4 people, there was a strong one who had won 70 games in a row. His strength was at the contra level, but it was a pity that he couldn't use his soul power, otherwise the situation would be changed in an instant. The other 3, the worst ones, also have the strength of the Soul Emperor, but they are all limited by their soul power, otherwise they would not take Chen Luo seriously. After Chen Luo killed 5 people in succession, he did not stop there. He continued to move forward. The death sickle in his hand glowed with cold light, seeming to be able to cut off all life. The remaining 4 people looked at each other. They all knew that they were no match for Chen Luo alone, so they joined forces again and attacked Chen Luo together. Chen Luo's speed was still very fast, but it was already within an acceptable range for them. They all knew very well that someone would definitely fall down later, but as long as there were still people alive and able to inflict serious damage to Chen Luo, then the remaining people would have hope of survival. Chen Luo's figure was as elusive as a ghost. He simply ignored the crowd and launched another attack. In an instant, he was in front of an enemy. He was the weakest of the 4 remaining enemies. The death scythe was raised and swung down. The enemy subconsciously used his hands to block, but his hands were cut off directly. The blade of the death scythe still penetrated his torso, instantly cutting off his life. Several other people were very good at seizing the opportunity. When they saw Chen Luo's Death Reaper sinking into a person's body, they immediately launched an attack on Chen Luo. However, who knew that Chen Luo easily pulled out a Death Reaper and waved it hard, and another person was blocked. Cut off. But Chen Luo also sold his flaw. The Soul Douluo level opponent raised a fist as big as a casserole and hit Chen Luo's head hard, while another Soul Saint level strongman kicked Chen Luo, falling on the chest. No matter who attacks, it will cause huge damage to Chen Luo, and the scene may even cause his head to be shattered, or his chest to be kicked through. After all, their strength is not bad. In terms of attack power, they are even stronger than Chen Luo. Although the powerful soul power cannot be used, it also provides them with a strong physique and terrifying power. Even the Soul Douluo who cannot use soul power can easily kill the Soul King and even the strong ones below the Soul Emperor level. Period. That is to say, Chen Luo is a different kind, otherwise Chen Luo would have fallen to the opponent's fist long ago. The attack speed of Soul Douluo and Soul Saint is not slow. If nothing unexpected happens, no one can avoid the flanking attack of the 2 of them in this situation. But Chen Luo itself was an accident. Chen Luo directly put away the death scythe, and then quickly squatted down with his hands in front of him. Boom! A powerful whip hit Chen Luo's arm, sending Chen Luo flying away. The fist that was supposed to fall on Chen Luo's head missed directly, and the whip leg that was supposed to hit Chen Luo's chest also hit Chen Luo's arm. Chen Luo easily resolved the conflict between Soul Douluo and Soul Saint attack. Chen Luo stepped back more than 10 meters before he could stop. The enemy was also very strong. In terms of strength alone, There was not much difference between them. He was even less powerful than the opponent. His arm was burning with pain, but Chen Luo didn't care. He took out a death scythe again, and then took the initiative to rush towards the two enemies. In the process of advancing, Chen Luo accelerated suddenly, and his figure was so fast that he disappeared directly. When he reappeared, he was already in front of the Soul Saint level powerhouse, and the huge death scythe roared away. No matter which game it is, Chen Luo always starts with a weak one. Unless something unexpected happens, he will first deal with a relatively weak opponent, and then deal with the strongest one with peace of mind. A strong person at the Soul Saint level is really nothing in front of Chen Luo. His former sparring partner was the Soul Saint. Facing Chen Luo's sudden attack, the Soul Saint level opponent immediately used his martial soul. Thick granite appeared on his arms. Other aspects of his body also changed. His entire body shape grew a bit bigger and instantly became a stone giant. Chapter 93 Beheading. Chong. The sickle blade of the death scythe instantly fell on the Soul Saint's opponent's arm. The opponent's arm was completely covered with stone. The moment the two collided, there was a tooth-piercing friction sound and sparks flew everywhere. This martial spirit is quite interesting, why don't you use it at the beginning? Chen Luo failed to attack once and immediately retreated without any pause, not giving the opponent the slightest chance, nor giving another contra opponent a chance. At the moment when Chen Luo and the stone giant were fighting, Contra had already rushed over, but unfortunately Chen Luo was faster and the opponent missed again. It turns out that the speed has slowed down a lot after turning on the martial spirit. Although it is strong, it is just a useless tank. Chen Luo immediately saw the shortcomings of the stone giants. The opponent's defense was indeed not bad, and they seemed to be very powerful, but they were the slow ones and had almost no possibility of launching an attack. If Chen Luo could still be attacked by such a slow opponent, then the grass on his grave would probably be 3 feet high. You can forget about this and go directly to find that Contra. Chen Luo immediately changed his target and rushed towards Contra. The opponent had also activated his martial spirit at this time, which was a beast martial spirit. It looked similar to a wolf, and had a pair of extremely sharp claws on his hands. They were all people who had a certain degree of confidence in their own strength and did not release their martial arts spirits at the beginning of the battle. Although on the surface it seems that they are working together to kill Chen Luo, in fact they all have their own agenda. They want their teammates to be cannon fodder first, and then they can launch a surprise attack. Soon, Chen Luo and the werewolf collided. The death scythe collided with the werewolf's claws, and sparks shot out, but there was no difference. Both of them were knocked back by the other's huge force. Then the two of them collided again. The stone giant next to them did not take back his martial spirit form, but just watched silently. The stone giant knew what level his strength was. Even if he took back his martial spirit now, he would not be able to join the battle between the two people. He might as well watch from the sidelines and maybe reap the benefits. He knew that he was the weakest, and he could only win if the other two were defeated. No matter whether either side gained a huge advantage, it was not a good thing for him, because after one person fell, it would be his turn next. The situation in front of him was exactly what the stone giant wanted to see most. And it maintains the shape of a stone giant. Although it moves slowly, its body is hard enough and feels safe. Chen Luo and the werewolf didn't know who was better for a while, and it didn't take long for their eyes to look at the stone giant together. Anyone who has survived until now is not a fool. No one wants to let others reap the victory after fighting hard. Without any verbal communication, Chen Luo and the werewolf rushed towards the stone giant together. The situation that the stone giant least wanted to see happened. Damn, two lunatics. Before the stone giant had time to enjoy the joy of waiting for victory, he was immediately faced with a crisis of death, and his whole body panicked instantly. There was no point in panic, there was nothing he could do. Chen Luo and the werewolf quickly arrived in front of the stone giant, and then launched an attack together. Although the stone giant was tough, it could not withstand the repeated attacks of Chen Luo and the werewolf. After a while, the stone giant couldn't bear it anymore and turned into piles of stones scattered on the killing field of hell. After the stone giant was resolved, Chen Luo and the werewolf met again. If you weren't in the killing city, your head would have been crushed by me. The werewolf's patience probably reached the critical point, and he actually started to utter meaningless cruel words. Chen Luo responded calmly, "It's a pity that this is the capital of killing." The two soon fought again, and the battle lasted for a long time. Chen Luo is very fast and powerful, but the opponent is not the same. Perhaps in terms of speed, the werewolf is slightly inferior to Chen Luo, but the werewolf's reflexes are not outstanding. No matter Chen Luo attacks from any angle, the werewolf will able to block with its own claws. This is the strength of control-level experts. Even if they cannot use soul skills, they are still strong. Even if Chen Luo is a different kind, he can't be killed instantly. Soon, 10 minutes passed. Chen Luo and the werewolf were both exhausted, and they both invariably opened a safe distance. In those 10 minutes, they fought numerous times without making much substantial progress. There was a hideous scratch on Chen Luo's arm, and there was also a terrifying wound on the werewolf's back, extending from his neck to his waist, with the skin and flesh torn open. The two of them used all their strength in every attack, so their physical strength was depleted so quickly. And their recovery abilities are also terrifying. The scratches on Chen Luo's arms are almost healed, and the wounds on the werewolf's back have stopped bleeding automatically. Now, it's time for them to regain their strength. This Tama is really a monster. I feel that opponents of the same level are not that difficult to deal with. No, titled Douluo is not as difficult to deal with as him. The werewolf couldn't help but sigh in his heart. If Chen Luo was a strong man at the Contra level or titled Douluo level, the werewolf would still be able to accept it, but the key point is that this guy is not. Even though the Killing City limits soul power and soul skills, you can still roughly see the opponent's strength through the slight fluctuations in soul power displayed by the opponent's use of martial arts. The boy's strength is at the Soul King level at best, so why is he so difficult to deal with? No matter how perverted his martial spirit is, he won't be so powerful, right? Or is it that this guy doesn't put his thoughts on his martial spirit at all, but is dedicated to have you exercise? I have never seen the real Clear Sky Hammer, but I have seen the Blue Electric Tyrannosaurus. If that kid's martial spirit is really the Blue Electric Tyrannosaurus, I can barely accept it, but the key point is that the kid's martial spirit is just a cicala. The werewolf was secretly surprised in his heart while recovering his strength. Before the werewolf's physical strength could recover, Chen Luo actually started to take action. This horse recovers so quickly? Is it still a human? The werewolf immediately retreated when he saw Chen Luo rushing towards him. But Chen Luo obviously didn't give the werewolf a chance to retreat. He exerted force on his feet and his speed increased sharply. In less than a minute, his physical strength seemed to have returned to its best condition. The werewolf's physical strength had not yet fully recovered, and speed was not his advantage. Without any suspense, he was quickly caught up by Chen Luo, and then encountered Chen Luo's death scythe. Chong. The death scythe once again fell on the Wolf King's sharp claws, but this time the Wolf King was unable to withstand the huge force coming from the death scythe, and he knelt down directly. Is this horse riding power a human being? Did this guy still control his power during the battle just now? The werewolf was already devastated at this time, knowing that he had to confess here, but this did not affect his shock at Chen Luo's strength. Of course Chen Luo is not as strong as the Wolf King imagined, and his physical strength has not fully recovered, but he just wants to catch the opponent off guard, and then directly beheaded. The death scythe drew an elegant arc in the air. As its scythe fell, a line of blood appeared on the werewolf's neck. Boom. The werewolf was overwhelmed and fell down, his body separated. Chapter 94 Hull Road. It's a pity, this is Contra's corpse. If he can be revived, his combat power will be greatly improved. The moment the Contra-level werewolf fell, the first thing Chen Luo felt was not the joy of victory, but a little regret. The entire hell-killing fields instantly boiled, and everyone was chanting the 4 words Hell Death, shouting crazily for the Hell Death who had won hundreds of games in a row. But as the god of death himself, Chen Luo was thinking that it would be great if he could revive his opponent. Even if you can't get Soul Douluo, those Soul Saints and Soul Emperors are actually quite good. They are all human beings. Even after they wake up, they don't need to occupy the space of the dead, just let them follow you. The situation in front of him obviously did not allow Chen Luo to do that, and it was impossible for him to take away the corpses. It was estimated that before long, those corpses would be thrown into the blood pool and become part of the blood pool. I have to say that Contra is quite strong. If the opponent can use soul power, I will definitely not be his opponent. Even a Soul Saint level stone giant can probably drink a pot of it for himself. Fortunately, the Hell-Killing Fields is considered fair and just. No matter how powerful you were before, it is basically the same here. As long as your fist is hard enough, even a titled Douluo can be killed by you. By the way, titled Douluo. Until Chen Luo had just completed 100 consecutive victories, he had never encountered a powerful person at the title Douluo level. The most powerful one was the Contra-level werewolf. If there was really an opponent at the title Douluo level, even if his special ability to wake up was exposed, he would wake him up directly after killing the opponent. It's a pity that we didn't meet it. It is unrealistic to specifically look for such an existence in the Killing City. Besides, after all, I have never fought against an opponent of this level, so whether I can win is still a question. Hell's death. Hell's death. Hell's death. The extremely exciting and deafening sounds resounded throughout the entire Hell Killing Fields, and it was estimated that most of the people in the Killing City could hear them. Chen Luo finally came back from his thoughts at this time. Finally 100 games. Chen Luo looked around and looked at the crazy audience, and a faint smile gradually appeared on his face. This is enjoying the joy of the winner. Look, countless people are cheering for me. But Chen Luo did not sink into it, but silently waited for the arrival of the King of Slaughter. Winning, games in a row qualifies you to enter the Hell Road, and it is time for the King of Slaughter to appear. Congratulations, young Hell Death. Deep and sharp sounds suddenly came from all directions. Even though Chen Luo was mentally prepared, he was still shaken by the sudden huge pressure. This was the first time Chen Luo had experienced such terrifying pressure. Even when he faced Douluo, he thought he might struggle, but being locked by this aura, he had no chance to resist. Chen Luo looked up and saw a blood-red figure descending from the sky. The King of Killing is finally here. The King of Slaughter. The King of Slaughter. The King of Slaughter. The shouts made the fallen people hoarse their voices, but they had no intention of stopping. The atmosphere in the Hell Killing Field suddenly rose to the extreme. Chen Luo's eyes were not affected by the deafening shouts, and always fell on the blood-red figure. It was a tall man, wrapped in a huge scarlet cloak. With a pale complexion and a pair of completely blood-red eyes, his body slowly descended from the air, as if he didn't need to be restricted by gravity at all. Title Douluo could walk in the air, but Chen Luo didn't think that the other party was just an ordinary title Douluo. Chen Luo's memory about the city of killing was not missing at all, and the impression was very deep. The man in front of him is the king of the Killing City, the King of Killing. He also has another identity, the former Haoshan sect leader, level 99 ultimate Douluo, Tang Chen. I am very happy to witness the birth of an extremely young killing powerhouse today, the god of death from hell. He is definitely the youngest killing god in the history of the Killing City. Oh, I almost forgot. The god of death has not yet gone to Hell Road, but that probably won't be a problem. I'm looking forward to seeing the god of death walking out of Hell Road. That will be a historic moment in our Killing City. The King of Slaughter said with a ferocious smile. He looked a little crazy and extremely sick. He waved his big hand and pointed at Chen Luo. Young Hell Death, you have obtained the qualification to go to hell. Are you ready? Chen Luo nodded lightly. For dozens of days and nights since he came here, he had been waiting for these words to sound. It's just that he was a little surprised by the King of Slaughter's expression. There was no seriousness or coldness at all, it was full of morbidity and madness, like a madman locked in the innermost part of a mental hospital. But thinking about it, if he wasn't crazy, Tang Chen, an extreme Douluo, wouldn't be here. It is good. The smile on the Slaughter King's face grew stronger. I hope you won't disappoint me. Before the voice fell, an extremely terrifying aura burst out from the King of Slaughter instantly, and a thick red mist was suddenly released from the King of Slaughter, spreading throughout the Hell Killing Field at an extremely fast speed. Chen Luo stood there with some difficulty. The ground beneath his feet had collapsed and cracks appeared, but he still gritted his teeth and persisted. The pressure brought by extreme Douluo was too great. This was because the King of Slaughter did not focus all the pressure on Chen Luo alone, otherwise Chen Luo would have knelt down directly. This is the absolute strength gap in the true sense. No matter how talented you are, you cannot make up for this gap. You are like an ant in front of the opponent, and others can easily kill you with one finger. What was released from the King of Slaughter was not a murderous aura, but an extremely evil aura, a cold that made one's bones stiffen. Although Chen Luo was not in it, he could already feel the irresistible despair just by watching. The red mist enveloped all the spectators in the Hell Killing Fields. Within a few breaths, everyone collapsed into the bloody mist. They had no chance to react or resist. The moment the bloody mist arrived, they were doomed to death. The blood mist rose, and the air instantly became thicker. The blood began to gather, like streams flowing down the small and inconspicuous pipes under the auditorium toward the center of the killing field. Extremely terrifying negative energy came towards him, and the blood vessels all over Chen Luo's body bulged, as if he would become a part of the blood mist in the next second. The Death God's armor appeared automatically, instantly taking the huge pressure off Chen Luo. Moreover, the death armor seems to be greedily absorbing the energy in the surrounding blood mist, swallowing it all, good or bad. On the extremely dark appearance of the death armor, blood-colored lines appeared one after another, and then disappeared again. Chapter 95 Gongzhongyang's Strength. Chen Luo didn't pay attention to this. His attention was attracted to the middle of the hell killing field. There, grooves appeared at some point, and blood flowed into them, and soon they gathered into a huge blood-red pattern on the ground. Chen Luo could see the appearance of the blood-red pattern at a glance. It was a huge blood-red bat. The Hell Road had been successfully opened at this time, and a bloody light pillar shot up into the sky. Chen Luo was enveloped in it before he could react. Then his whole body felt like falling into an abyss, and his consciousness gradually became blurred. Everything around him was covered in blood, and Chen Luo felt as if he had fallen into a sea of blood. The biting coldness and terrifying suffocation suddenly hit him. Fortunately, these bad reactions only appeared for a moment and disappeared quickly. Chen Luo lowered his head and saw that the death armor formed a black barrier around him, separating the blood around him. Separated from it was the terrifying murderous aura. It was those murderous auras that made Chen Luo freeze. Without those negative effects, Chen Luo felt much better, but his body also lost consciousness and could not do anything. He just waited silently. Chen Luo noticed that the death armor was still absorbing the blood-colored energy. The lines on the death armor appeared blood-red from time to time, but soon disappeared. After an unknown amount of time, the blood around him suddenly dimmed. Chen Luo felt himself standing on the ground again, and his body regained consciousness. Looking at the environment he was currently in, the surroundings were shrouded in blood, and blood light appeared from time to time. It was like a bloody world. He was on a circular platform about 5 meters in diameter. Finally arrived at Hell Road. The environment in front of him was consistent with his impression, and Chen Luo immediately began to look for a way forward. Outside the circular platform is an abyss. In addition, a slender path less than half a foot wide and only wide enough to accommodate 2 feet standing at the same time leads to the unknown darkness. This is also the only path on the platform where Chen Luo is. The way to the outside world. Only by continuing along this road can you get out. Later, you will encounter the monsters on the Hell Road, starting from bats, to the dark old 3-headed Bat King, and then to the 10-headed blazing sun snake. Chen Luo did not act in a hurry, but first recalled some of the difficulties and details of the Hell Road in his mind. After reviewing, Chen Luo directly summoned Gongzhongyang. Hell Road should not be under the surveillance of the King of Slaughter, otherwise the next second Tang San destroyed the City of Slaughter, he would probably be directly pressed by his great-grandfather Dai. Chen Luo does not need soul control to use the Death Bracelet or Death Armor. These two artifacts have the most direct connection with him and do not require any media guidance. After Gongzhongyang appeared, Chen Luo immediately received contacts from several other undead spirits. Whether it's the Nightmare Centipede or the King of the Earth, they all want to come out and do their part. Only the Hell Demon Spider is the calmest. It doesn't have much consciousness and will only appear immediately when Chen Luo needs it. The road is only so wide. If we come out together, how can the Master still walk? If you are needed, why don't you make the request yourself? A soul beast is indeed a soul beast. Even if it has certain intelligence, it is still just a soul beast. By the way, Master, what do you need me to do? After Gongzhongyang appeared, he seemed to be aware of the thoughts of the other dead souls. He immediately mocked them severely and then asked Chen Luo with a smile. Chen Luo, open the way ahead. Gongzhongyang, well done, Master. Chen Luo always seeks stability. He is indeed very confident in his own strength. Even if he is alone, he is sure to pass the Hell Road. But since there is an undead brother at your disposal, why should you torture yourself? He also wants to call out all the undead brothers to protect him, but there are some factors that must be considered when coming here. As Gongzhongyang said, the road is so wide that it is impossible to release all the undead brothers. It is estimated that the smallest Hell Demon Spider will be choked here, let alone the other two. There is no doubt that Gongzhongyang is the most suitable, and his strength is not bad. He is at the Soul Saint level and can compete with the strongest Hell Spider among the dead Soul Beast brothers. Generally speaking, it is not a problem for the Soul Saint to deal with soul beasts that are about 3 years old, but the Hell Demon Spider is special after all. At Chen Luo's signal, Guangzhonggyang opened the way ahead, and it didn't take long for them to encounter harassment from bats. A group of blood-red bats came from nowhere. As soon as they appeared, they rushed towards Chen Luo and Guangzhonggyang crazily. They all made a squawking cry, which made people's hair stand on end. When you get close, you can clearly see their fangs with a cold light. One or two of them certainly don't pose any threat, but once you get there, it's a dark place, with at least thousands of them. Even if those blood-red bats flap their wings, they can create a strong wind. If two people stood on this path, they would be blown directly down. Even if they could hold their own and not be blown away, their figures would still be swaying. Chen Luo and Guangzhonggyang seemed not to be affected by the strong wind at all, and their clothes did not rise up. At this time, there was a blood-red longsword in Guangzhonggyang's hand, and a total of 7 soul rings, 2 yellow, 2 purple, 2 black, and 1 gray, lingered around Guangzhonggyang's body. Maybe Guangzhonggyang's identity is due to the undead, or maybe his current power is special. The soul power restriction seemed to have no effect on Guangzhonggyang, and he was able to exert his strength as usual. Guangzhonggyang didn't even look at the blood-colored bats. He waved the blood-colored sword gently in his hand, and countless blood-colored sword energy rushed out, killing all the blood-colored bats. The two of them continued to move forward. On the way, blood-colored bats continued to attack and harass them, but all of them were killed by Guangzhonggyang without exception. At first, Guangzhonggyang would wait for those bloody bats to reach a certain range before attacking, but gradually, he seemed to be worried that these ugly guys would stain his owner's eyes, or that they would make too much noise and disturb his house. Owner. He directly threw out the bloody sword, and the 6th soul ring on his body always remained slightly bright. After that, they were never harassed by the blood-colored bats again. It was estimated that those blood-colored bats were killed by Guangzhonggyang's blood-colored sword on the way here. Chen Luo also saw Guangzhonggyang's strength for the first time. It had to be said that this evil soul master was still very powerful. He was definitely a genius during his lifetime, but it was a pity that he took an evil path. The strength of these blood-colored bats is too weak to see Guangzhonggyang show too much strength, but a lot of things can be seen from the tip of the iceberg, he revealed. Master, there is a larger bat in front of me. It is dark gold and has 3 heads. Its strength should be higher than that of an ordinary 10,000-year soul beast. Do you want to consider joining the undead formation? It's time for the nightmare centipede to be eliminated. While walking, Guangzhonggyang suddenly spoke. Chen Luo couldn't help but smile. How could he not see Guangzhonggyang's little thoughts? Are all the undead so wrapped up now? No need, just kill him. Chen Luo said. Okay, master. Guangzhonggyang nodded slightly, with a slightly disappointed look on his face, as if he failed to eliminate the nightmare centipede. Master, that bat has been dealt with. Guangzhonggyang spoke again quickly, and it was only a few breaths away. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelis. There you'll find the original version of this story, and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 96 One Sword Cut. Chen Luo didn't expect that Guangzhonggyang's strength was so strong. Although it was easy for a soul master at the soul saint level to deal with a 10,000-year soul beast, it was not so easy. What's more, the dark gold 3-headed bat king was not an ordinary 1,000-year soul beast. It seems that this evil soul master brother was not only a genius during his lifetime, but also an extraordinary genius. If he hadn't followed the path of an evil soul master, he might have become a titled Douluo level powerhouse like his brother Guangzhongfei. After Guangzhonggyang dealt with the dark gold 3-headed bat king, the two of them continued to move forward. Guangzhonggyang, can't you evil soul masters also be able to resurrect dead things? Do you still have this ability? Chen Luo asked. He suddenly thought of the evil soul master's ability and wanted to know more about it. Guangzhonggyang said, ours is just a little trick, and it is in no way comparable to your ability, master. I still have the ability to resurrect dead objects, but the dead objects after resurrection will probably be much weaker, and there is a certain chance of betrayal. In short, there are many problems. Alright. Chen Luo nodded, then I'll try again when I have a chance. Guangzhonggyang said, If the master wants to see it, I can show it to him right now. As he spoke, Guangzhonggyang opened his hand, and a bat with a relatively well-preserved body was sucked into his hand. Then Guangzhonggyang was seen muttering obscure spells, and a special power was injected into the body of the dead bat, along with a hint of gray aura lingering around Guangzhonggyang. The bat came to life again soon, but the first thing he did after coming back to life was to attack Guangzhonggyang. Guangzhonggyang took a big hand and crushed the bat directly. "Master, I'm sorry, I failed." A helpless and ashamed smile appeared on Guangzhonggyang's face, and then he continued, "Although I failed, I discovered something special. I resurrected dead things and they didn't suffer any backlash." Chen Luo nodded, "Yes, I understand. It's best to use your ability less." Guangzhonggyang smiled awkwardly, "Okay, Master. Is the resurrection of the evil soul master so useless? Not only will it suffer the backlash of resurrection, but it will also face betrayal, and the strength of the resurrected dead will also be weakened. If this is used in battle, I am afraid that more and more enemies will be killed, and they will never be able to kill them all. Even if they are successfully resurrected, the effect of dead objects will not be as great as imagined. It is better to awaken oneself, as there are no side effects, and the awakened undead can never betray, and the awakened undead can quickly recover from injuries and improve a certain strength." Chen Luo slightly compared the evil soul master's resurrection with his own awakening in his mind. Without comparison, there would be no harm. Although there are certain flaws, the resurrection of the evil soul master is also an extremely powerful ability that should not be underestimated. In addition to the ability to devour souls to increase strength, the death of evil soul masters is not without reason. Chen Luo then thought of himself. Whether it was soul hunting or awakening, their abilities were very similar to those of an evil soul master. Isn't he the top version of an evil soul master? Of course, he is not an evil soul master, he is the god of death. Can you still swallow souls to increase your strength now? Chen Luo asked. Guangzhonggyang nodded slightly. Of course it can be done, but there is no need to use that method anymore. Devouring souls will have many side effects. I once took this wrong path, which led to the ruin of my talent and stayed at the Soul Emperor level for many years. Otherwise, I would not have been killed by others. In that special space, my strength has improved very quickly, and I don't need that special method at all. Chen Luo, show me how to use it. Guangzhonggyang, well done. I saw Guangzhonggyang closing his eyes slightly, holding a special handprint in front of his chest, and murmuring obscure spells in his mouth. Then he could clearly see the gray aura around him that was constantly coming towards Guangzhonggyang. Zhongyang moved closer and was eventually absorbed by Guangzhonggyang. Guangzhonggyang's body trembled slightly, then regained his composure, and slowly opened his eyes. The gray in his pupil seemed to be more intense. Surprisingly, there was no backlash. Guangzhonggyang was a little surprised. "Master, it seems that you have given me more powerful abilities. Whether it is resurrecting dead objects or devouring souls, I have not suffered any backlash. This is a good thing." Chen Luo looked very calm. Guangzhonggyang nodded vigorously, with a look of surprise on his face. "This has really improved me a lot. If I have the opportunity in the future, I want to try to resurrect dead objects more and try to increase the chance of success. Anyway, I will not suffer backlash. At most, I will face the betrayal of dead objects. As long as I can stabilize the chance of success, then I can serve you as the master. Develop more undead attendants. As for swallowing souls, even if there are no side effects, I will be measured. I used to be eager for success, so I cut off my own future. Now that I am living again, I will cherish this hard-won opportunity. In that special space, practice hard and improve your strength." Chen Luo, it's okay. I allow you to increase your strength by devouring souls. There are no side effects anyway. Okay. Guangzhonggyang nodded immediately, as if he was waiting for Chen Luo's words. Chen Luo continued, "You have to take care of your own affairs. Just don't mess around." "I understand, Master." Guangzhonggyang nodded again, his face full of excitement. "Chen Luo, I just swallowed the soul, how about the improvement?" Guangzhonggyang smiled and said, "Those little things are too weak, and the improvement their souls can bring to me is negligible. Only the soul of the larger bat can improve me slightly. If nothing unexpected happens, you will have another chance to devour the soul soon," Chen Luo said. Hearing this, Guangzhonggyang's eyes suddenly froze, and a look of surprise appeared on his face the next second. Oh my god, Master, you are so strong. You can actually sense creatures that are so far apart. It's too exaggerated. Chen Luo said calmly. Guangzhongyang chuckled, Master, I am really not flattering you. You are the most talented soul master I have ever seen, and you will definitely be able to reach the limit of being a soul master in the future. Chen Luo ignored Guangzhongyang, who immediately changed the topic. Master, I have sensed the relevant environment in front of me. The road there is quite wide. After I kill that guy later, you can let the little spider come out to devour the guy's body. You have given me the soul. Chen Luo nodded lightly. Okay. The two of them continued walking along the trail without any further accidents along the way. Not long after, the road in front of them became much wider, and a big snake not far ahead blocked their way. The big snake has a dark red body, fiery red eyes, a body as thick as a table, and is at least more than 10 meters long. There are a total of 9 protrusions on the head and back of the big snake. Each protrusion is like a bright red mushroom, and it seems as if there is blood flowing inside. It's definitely the 10-headed fierce sun snake. Master, let the little spider out, it will be ready for a feast soon. Guangzhongyang looked at the big snake in front of him, his eyes full of excitement. After licking his lips, he held the blood-colored sword and rushed directly towards the big snake. The 5th soul ring on Guangzhongyang's body suddenly lit up, and then Guangzhongyang's body turned into a shadow and passed directly through the big snake at an extremely fast speed. A line of blood spread rapidly from the snake's head. Even though it was not obvious on its dark red body, you could still see it if you looked a little carefully. Boom! The big snake split into 2 and fell heavily to the ground. It seemed that it was unable to react, and all its vitality was cut off. Chapter 97 Smooth Customs Clearance. Master, here it is. After killing 10 blazing sun snakes with one sword, Guangzhongyang's figure returned to Chen Luo's side, holding a golden red ball as big as an egg in his hand. Chen Luo accepted it directly and put it into the storage space of the death bracelet. The golden red ball is the inner elixir of the 10-headed fierce sun snake. It is very useful. If you don't need it for the time being, just keep it. Owner. After handing over the trophies, Guangzhongyang seemed a little impatient. He rubbed his hands and looked at Chen Luo eagerly. Chen Luo said, I have just promised you, you can just go. Okay, thank you master. Guangzhongyang immediately went to the corpse of the 10-headed blazing sun snake, then held a special handprint, murmured a special spell, and began to devour the soul of the 10-headed blazing sun snake. Chen Luo then summoned the hell demon spider, go and devour that snake. The hell demon spider acted immediately, passed Guangzhongyang directly, and then quickly devoured the corpses of the 10-headed blazing sun snakes. Chen Luo looked at the scene in front of him and suddenly felt a little emotional. The killing, body disposal, and soul disposal have all been arranged. It is simply a one-stop service. Of course, Chen Luo also has the ability to swallow the soul of the 10-headed blazing sun snake, and you can also revive the corpse of the 10-headed blazing sun snake, even if its body is split into 2. But those didn't mean much to Chen Luo. Swallowing souls would affect Chen Luo's foundation. Under normal circumstances, he would not do that. In the past, after killing the target, he would regret that the souls were not properly dealt with. Now that Guangzhongyang appears, he can use them all. As for the awakening of the 10 blazing sun snakes, Chen Luo's current undead are enough, mainly because the undead space cannot hold them. Even the weakest nightmare centipede has a certain role, and there is no need to replace it yet. In terms of combat power, the hell demon spider and Guangzhongyang are completely adequate. After a while, the 10-headed blazing sun snake completely disappeared from this world. Its soul became the nourishment for Guangzhongyang to improve his strength, and its body was distributed to the hell spider. Chen Luo put away the hell demon spider and let Guangzhongyang continue to walk in front to clear the way. Guangzhongyang smiled and said, Master, I didn't expect that the strength of that big snake is not that good, but its soul is actually quite powerful. I have benefited a lot this time. I will probably go back to your special space to retreat for a while. The strength will soon exceed level 71. Chen Luo nodded, yes, I sensed it. The hell demon spider has also gained a lot. Although the strength is not greatly improved, it seems to have gained the fire attribute of the 10-headed blazing sun snake. Guangzhongyang grinned. It turns out that big snake is called the 10-headed fierce sun snake. Master, you are really well informed. Chen Luo, we just happen to know each other. After killing the dark gold three-headed Bat King and the 10-headed fierce Sun Snake, Chen Luo did not encounter any danger again, but Gong's Hongyang was still arranged by him to clear the way. He had always been so safe. As Chen Luo and Guang's Hongyang continued to move forward, the surrounding temperature continued to rise, and the dark red liquid flowing in the abyss on both sides became vaguely visible and gradually became clear. There seemed to be a special atmosphere in the air. The feeling of depression became more and more obvious deep in Chen Luo's heart, and Chen Luo's own murderous intent was released more unscrupulously. The Death God's armor has helped Chen Luo share a lot of negative energy, and the heat of the environment has been isolated too much by the Death God's armor. However, after all, the Death God's armor cannot help Chen Luo solve all problems. Some things still have to be faced by Chen Luo himself, right? The outward release of murderous aura can greatly block the evil aura on the road to hell, but it cannot completely isolate it. Chen Luo always remained calm and his will was extremely firm. Even if the evil aura penetrated into his body, it could not make him lose his mind. He would soon be strangled and swallowed up by the murderous aura in his body. The dark red liquid on both sides was only about 50 meters away from the narrow road where Chen Luo and the others were. The air was so hot that the clothes on Chen Luo and Guang's Hongyang gave off a faint smell of burning. Guang's Hongyang has been silently watching Chen Luo's changes. He knows very well that Chen Luo needs to go forward on his own, and his presence cannot play a big role. Perhaps because of his identity as an undead spirit, Guang's Hongyang was not greatly affected. The evil energy from the Hell Road entered his body and soon came out automatically. The terrifying high temperature around him could not affect him. He could use completely isolated from his own power. Chen Luo's face gradually became ugly, and he began to speed up and rush forward, and Gong's Hongyang immediately followed. After a while, the two of them came to the end of the trail. The blood-colored lava seems to be able to engulf the trail at any time. The temperature here can be described as terrifying. Even Guang's Hongyang cannot completely isolate the influence of the terrifying high temperature. Chen Luo still persisted, even though his face was a little ugly, he always remained calm. The exit is ahead. Chen Luo gritted his teeth. The exit can already be seen in the distance, and the white light condenses into an oval-shaped light curtain. As long as you pass through it, you can leave the Hell Road. However, there is no road ahead, only a blood-red ocean. Chen Luo was still at least a kilometer away from the exit. It's not a big problem. Chen Luo didn't panic at all, and immediately said, Guang's Hongyang, take me and rush over directly. There's a soul saint standing next to him, so don't panic at all, okay? This distance is nothing to Gong's Hongyang. Guang's Hongyang nodded immediately, okay, master. Martial Soul Real Body. Guang's Hongyang directly activated his Martial Soul True Form, and the bloody longsword in his hand instantly became extremely huge. Then Guang's Hongyang took Chen Luo and stepped onto the giant sword together. Under Gong's Hongyang's control, the two of them walk with a sword. Is he so handsome? Chen Luo was shocked. He never expected that Gong's Hongyang would take him out of the Hell Road in this way. Guang's Hongyang smiled slightly. It's far from the master. This ability was given to me by my master. The giant sword moved forward very quickly, reaching a distance of 1,000 meters in an instant, passing directly through the white light curtain and leaving the Hell Road. The moment he entered the white light curtain, Chen Luo felt as if he had entered a very special world. Surrounded by a piece of snow-white nothingness, the Death God's armor was restricted by special power at this moment and was forcibly withdrawn. Chen Luo couldn't use any strength in his whole body, and the only feeling he felt was coldness. At this time, Chen Luo's consciousness was still very clear. He knew that he had reached the last step to obtain the realm of the God of Death. The cold feeling was caused by the murderous aura. The murderous aura kept getting into his body, and the murderous aura in his body was constantly being released. This bit of coldness is really nothing. Although this process was very painful, Chen Luo was completely able to bear it. He had had a similar experience before. In the face of that extreme coldness, the coldness caused by the murderous intent he felt at this time was really far away. I don't know how long it took, but the pain in my body gradually disappeared. Chen Luo knew that this meant that the Killing God realm was obtained. Chapter 98 Gifts. Successfully signed in at the Killing City, the current main task has been completed, and you have received a reward, Boots of Death. The cold system prompt sounded in Chen Luo's mind, making him wake up instantly. The painful feeling has completely disappeared, and Chen Luo only feels that there is a special power in his body, which must be domain power. He successfully survived in the killing city and obtained the title of God of Killing within the specified time. The system's mission completion prompt sounded quite timely. Chen Luo immediately opened the storage space of the death bracelet, and the death boots had already appeared in it. I saw that they were a pair of black combat boots, which looked extremely exquisite. Their appearance alone gave people an extremely extraordinary feeling. I've got another piece of death equipment. If I complete a few more missions, I'll be able to collect all the death suits. Chen Luo immediately took out the boots of death, and with just a thought, the boots of death were put directly on his feet. The death god's armor quietly appeared at this moment, directly connected with the death god's boots, becoming one body. Like death's armor, death's boots are extremely suitable to wear. The boots may seem heavy on the outside, but they actually have no weight. The armor of death provides defense, while the boots of death naturally provide speed. The moment Chen Luo put on the boots of death, he felt that his whole body was much lighter. He moved a little and rushed forward a long distance. This speed blessing is still very scary. It is precisely because it is too scary that it takes some time to get used to the boots of death. After acquiring a new piece of death equipment, Chen Luo did not receive any prompts from the suit's effect. It is estimated that he would have to collect one or more pieces to activate the suit's effect again. Chen Luo was not in a hurry to master the death god's boots. He quickly put away the death god's armor and death god's boots. Guangzhongyang was not far ahead, waiting silently. Chen Luo had nothing to avoid regarding his undead spirit, but he sensed a powerful aura approaching him. Looks like Guangzhongfei. Arriving next to Guangzhongyang, Guangzhongyang immediately smiled and said, "Congratulations, Master, for obtaining the killing god domain." Ah. Chen Luo nodded, and then asked, "Did you gain anything?" "Of course there are gains." Guangzhongyang devoured a lot of souls on the road to hell. Chen Luo mainly asked about Guangzhongyang's gains in the field of killing gods. Guangzhongyang knew what Chen Luo meant and shook his head slightly. Without the killing experience of the hell-killing fields, even if your subordinates are lucky enough to follow their master through the road to hell, they will not be able to obtain the realm of the god of death. Furthermore, my subordinates have a special status. They have not been restricted by the killing city. They must not be able to enjoy the unique benefits of the killing city. Even if they have experienced enough killings in the hell-killing fields, they may not be able to obtain the killing god domain. Chen Luo sighed. That's a pity. Chen Luo originally thought that Guangzhongyang could obtain the realm of the god of death by walking through the hell road. After listening to Guangzhongyang's analysis, what Guangzhongyang said made sense. The god of killing domain is not so easy to obtain, otherwise not many people have obtained the god of killing domain since the emergence of the city of killing. Guangzhongyang said, "As long as you, Master, obtain the god of death domain, it will be fine. If nothing else happens, as long as you open the god of death domain, Master, we can share the benefits of the god of death domain within your domain." "Oh, really?" Chen Luo was a little surprised. Guangzhongyang smiled and said, "Because we have a special connection with you, Master." "Okay, I'll try it if I have a chance in the future. If this is the case, then the value of this god of death domain seems to be even greater." Chen Luo said, "Someone is coming." Guangzhongyang was not surprised and said with a smile, "It's my brother. He came to keep the appointment, and he seems to have brought a gift." After a while, Guangzhongfei's figure came to Chen Luo and Guangzhongyang. He was carrying a big cloth bag. "You sure didn't disappoint me." After Guangzhongfei's eyes swept over Chen Luo's body, an ugly smile appeared on his scarred face. "You should be able to use these things." Guangzhongfei threw the big bag on his shoulder directly in front of Chen Luo. The bag released itself and contained two corpses. Chen Luo could tell the identities of the two corpses at a glance. They were both opponents he met in the last battle in the hell-killing fields. A Contra with a wolf-shaped martial spirit. A soul saint who possesses a stone giant special martial soul. Guangzhongfei was also very considerate. Originally, Contra's head was chopped off by Chen Luo, but he actually sewed it up again. Although his craftsmanship seemed a bit poor, he was full of sincerity. "I was present during your last battle in the killing fields of hell. I noticed that you were more interested in these two guys, but I guess you were worried about something, so you didn't take any action. Although I also suffered from some restrictions in the killing city, but it's easy to take away two bodies." Chen Luo did not hide his surprise and said with a smile, "Thank you. You're welcome, we're all family, Guang's Hongfei said. I just want to see you use that special resurrection ability. This was Gong's Hongfei's real purpose. Borrowing flowers to offer to Buddha was part of it, but he wanted to see Chen Luo's ability with his own eyes. Chen Luo couldn't see what Gong's Hongfei was thinking, so he immediately smiled and said, "Leave here first, so as not to attract the attention of the King of Slaughter." That's right. Although that guy seems to have some brain problems, he is still very strong. Sometimes when facing him, I feel like an ant. Guang's Hongfei said. Chen Luo, you said you watched my last game, weren't you affected by the blood mist of the King of Slaughter? I should have known what he was up to, and would have left with these two corpses in advance, otherwise they would have become nourishment on the Hell Road. Guang's Hongfei raised the corner of his mouth slightly, seeming to disapprove. It seems like you know a lot about a killing city. After all, I lived there for decades. Before me, and since you, has there ever been a god of death? Yes, a man with a hammer and a beautiful woman. In a short time, Chen Luo and others were far away from the killing city and arrived at the foot of a relatively secluded and remote mountain. After Gong's Hongfei brought the body out, the subsequent work of carrying the body fell on Guang's Honggang. However, Guang's Honggang didn't have any resentment and seemed quite excited. He would soon welcome new colleagues. Putting the body on the ground, Guang's Honggang immediately stepped aside and waited for Chen Luo's performance. Guang's Hongfei's eyes instantly fell on Chen Luo, with some expectation in his eyes. Chen Luo didn't pay attention to the looks of brothers Gong's Honggang and Gong's Hongfei. He directly activated his martial spirit. The huge death scythe appeared in his hand, and the shadow that only he could see disappeared into his body. At the same time, 4 soul rings, 2 purple and 2 black, slowly rose. When Gong's Hongfei saw Chen Luo's matching soul rings, he immediately lost his composure and his eyes widened unconsciously. How can that be? Chapter 99. Newcomers joined the team. Gong's Honggang immediately made a shushing gesture to his brother Gong's Hongfei, and then looked at his brother with a smile on his face, as if to say that it was all normal operations and there was nothing surprising. After Chen Luo activated his martial spirit, he immediately took the death scythe and slashed at the Soul Saint level stone giant. Wake! With a low cry in his heart, without any fancy movements or spells, the death scythe sank directly into Soul Saint's body. The next second, all the soul power in Chen Luo's body was wildly taken away, perhaps too violently, and Chen Luo's body even trembled slightly. The whole process didn't last long, only a minute or two, and the awakening was over quickly. Chen Luo withdrew his death scythe, and Soul Saint lying on the ground slowly woke up. All the wounds on Soul Saint's body disappeared, a gray aura lingered around him, and his pupils also turned gray. The moment he woke up, Soul Saint was still a little confused, but he quickly sensed a special connection, stood up immediately, and then knelt down on one knee towards Chen Luo. Master, Wai Liang Hao will always follow you. Wai Liang Hao was not surprised at all when he saw Chen Luo again, and there was no look of anger on his face, even if Chen Luo killed him with his own hands. Chen Luo nodded lightly, then gave Wai Liang Hao a look, indicating that he should stay aside. Wai Liang Hao immediately understood and moved towards Gong's Honggang, Guang's Hongfei and the two brothers. Guang's Honggang smiled and welcomed, "Good brother, you are welcome to join us." Wai Liang Hao knew that Gong's Honggang was also Chen Luo's dead soul, so he just smiled and nodded, and then his eyes fell on Guang's Hongfei next to Gong's Honggang. "Senior, why are you here too?" Guang's Hongfei ignored it, his eyes always stayed on Chen Luo, that is, the moment Wai Liang Hao woke up, his eyes glanced at Wai Liang Hao. Guang's Honggang patted Wai Liang Hao's shoulder, "Brother, it was my brother who brought you out and gave you to the master to give you a chance to be reborn." Wai Liang Hao glanced at Gong's Honggang, then at Gong's Hongfei, a little surprised. "Brother. Don't look at it, we are two brothers, and we are real brothers. That is to say, my brother disfigured himself, otherwise we two brothers are simply carved out of the same mold. Of course, I may be more handsome." Guang's Honggang seemed to be very familiar to him. This was the first time he met him, and he was so enthusiastic as Wai Liang Hao. "Don't worry, my brother will join us in the future," Guang's Honggang said with a smile. Guang's Hongfei glanced at Gong's Honggang indifferently, and Gong's Honggang immediately shut up. Immediately, everyone's eyes fell on Chen Luo. Chen Luo was standing on the spot holding the death scythe without taking any action. He seemed to be recovering his soul power. No one bothered Chen Luo, but their eyes were always on Chen Luo. After a while, Chen Luo's soul power was fully recovered, and then he awakened again and swung the death scythe towards the contra-level wolf-type soul master. The death scythe sank into the corpse easily without any hindrance, and then the scene of resurrecting Wai Liang Hao appeared. The corpse was devouring Chen Luo's soul power crazily, and it could be clearly seen that the corpse of the contra-level soul master was absorbing energy very much. When Chen Luo resurrected Wai Liang Hao, his body only trembled slightly. But when he resurrected this contra-level soul master, his body was shaking violently and his face quickly turned pale. Although the process is more exciting, it is still short, and the awakening is completed in less than 2 minutes. It's just that this time Chen Luo seemed to be sucked too hard. After retracting the death scythe, his body couldn't stabilize for a while, and he staggered back a few steps before he stabilized himself. The contra-level soul master also slowly opened his eyes at this time. The process was the same as when Wai Liang Hao was resurrected. He was a little confused at first, but soon came to Chen Luo and knelt down on one knee. "Master, Xiao will always follow you." Chen Luo waved his hand gently, which was similar to the response to Wai Liang Hao, and also told Xiao to stay alone. Xiao soon joined the team, standing with the brothers Wai Liang Hao and Gongzhonggang, Guangzhongfei. Chen Luo put away his martial spirit, sat down cross-legged, and practiced frantically to restore his soul power. After obtaining the 4th soul ring, it is still feasible to resurrect a soul Douluo, but it can only be resurrected at the level of Xiao. If you go higher, you will have to pay a certain price. As for the soul masters of the title Douluo level, there are no soul masters above the soul king. Don't think about your strength. Fortunately, there is no body of a title Douluo level soul master. Otherwise, we could only watch and not be able to wake up. After Chen Luo made a brief summary in his mind, he immediately entered the cultivation state. Chen Luo was not under any pressure to resurrect the soul saint level stone giant Wai Liang Hao, and the soul power consumed was completely acceptable. But Xiao, the wolf-type soul master of the resurrection soul Douluo level, has almost found time for Chen Luo. The gap between soul masters of different levels is already huge, let alone the difference between 2 levels. Chen Luo could barely accept this kind of consumption. While Chen Luo was recovering his soul power, Guangzhongfei stared at Chen Luo. Guangzhonggang immediately got along with Xiao, but whether it was Xiao or Wai Liang Hao, they seemed to talk very little, and it was basically Guangzhonggang who did the talking. Is this his ability? He is really powerful. He is indeed extraordinary. While possessing such a powerful ability, he can also stabilize his heart and move forward steadily. I remember Guangzhonggang said that he also has the ability to devour souls and improve his strength, and there is no backlash. He was able to resist using it all the time. I admire his determination. When they were in the killing capital, Guangzhonggang and Gongzhongfei talked a lot about Chen Luo. As Chen Luo's undead spirit, Guangzhonggang, of course, kept praising how powerful his master was. At that time, Guangzhongfei didn't believe it and always thought Gongzhonggang's words were too exaggerated. After meeting him at this time, he found that what Gongzhonggang said might be a bit conservative. The little guy in front of him, who looked to be only 13 or 14 years old, was more powerful than he imagined. Of course, this strength does not refer to Chen Luo's combat power, but to Chen Luo's ability and determination that is not in line with his age. He will definitely be a great person in the future, and following him doesn't seem like a bad thing. When he is weak, protect him well. When he is really strong, you can get some benefits and protection. It's impossible to kill him, and there's nothing we can do to him. Guangzhongfei glanced at his younger brother Gongzhonggang. Gongzhonggang was still talking non-stop with the 2 newly joined colleagues. Guangzhongfei couldn't help but shake his head slightly. This stupid guy only has the brain of a teenager. Chen Luo recovered his soul power very quickly, returning to his best condition in less than half an hour. He came to Wai Liang Hao and Xiao and wanted to get to know them formally, but Gongzhonggang beat them to it. "Master, I suddenly remembered something. We evil soul masters seem to have a good place to explore." Chapter 100 Treasure. The Evil Soul Master's Treasure. After hearing what Gongzhonggang said, Chen Luo looked surprised. Gongzhonggang nodded vigorously. "Yes, Master. When I died, the Evil Soul Master had already reached its end and was about to disappear completely. Among the Evil Soul Masters, although my status is not the highest, I can still be considered one of the top leaders. Before we carried out the last operation, all the funeral arrangements were already prepared. Hearing this, Guang Huangfei glanced at his brother with great disdain, and then taunted him mercilessly. You are the only one who can be a high-level person. I seem to know the reason why your evil soul master died. Guang Huanggang. Guang Huangfei continued to finish the attack. I told you at the beginning not to harm other people's organizations. You have at least half of the credit for the evil soul master's demise. Guang Huanggang, brother, don't say that about me. Am I that bad? Guang Huangfei, it's worse than I imagined. Guang Huanggang. Then why are you talking about this now? Chen Luo asked. Guang Huanggang smiled awkwardly. I just remembered. After being dead for so many years, many memories have been almost forgotten. Okay. Chen Luo nodded lightly and said nothing more. Guang Huangfei couldn't help but said at this time, can you forget such an important thing? Guang Huanggang smiled awkwardly again. Brother, it's not like you don't know me. I'm not interested in those things. That is, I suddenly thought of it and thought it would be useful to the master, so I said it directly. Guang Huangfei nodded lightly. That's true. You are indeed not interested in fame and fortune, otherwise you wouldn't have joined the evil soul master. The position of clan leader back then must have been yours, and it was precisely because of this stupid guy like you that you joined. Killing the evil soul master led to the family's demise. The corner of Guang Huanggang's mouth twitched slightly. Brother, can we not keep going over those old accounts? Chen Luo, then lead the way. No matter how desperate the evil soul master is, he should still have a lot of good things. Guang Huanggang nodded immediately. Okay, master. Then, Guang Huanggang seemed to be determining his position and looked around. After a while, Guang Huanggang looked at Chen Luo with some embarrassment. Master, I am not familiar with this area. Chen Luo. Guang Huangfei. Where is it? Guang Huangfei asked. Guang Huanggang paused, fell into a brief thought, and then said, it should be in the Dark Night Forest. The Dark Night Forest is near the Killing City. It can be reached in one day at most. Let me lead the way. Guang Huangfei said. After saying that, Guang Huangfei stood up and headed in one direction. When Chen Luo and others saw this, they immediately followed. On the way, Chen Luo had a simple communication with the two new undead brothers, which was considered a formal meeting. Chen Luo did not bring the stone giant Xiao and the werewolf Yao into the necromantic space, mainly because there were not so many vacancies in the necromantic space, and both of them looked like human soul masters, but their auras were a bit special, and their appearance was different from that of ordinary people. Not much difference. After some exchanges, Chen Luo learned simple information about Xiao and Yao. Xiao, level 71 soul saint, martial soul, stone statue man. Yao, level 82 soul Douluo, Wuhan, Kanglang. Even without communication, Chen Luo could still know relevant information about Xiao and Yao through their memories, but he would never do that. Too many memories will affect his mind. Few people who go to the Killing City are good people. And Chen Luo is not worried that Xiao and Yao will bring trouble to him. They have basically lived in the Killing City for more than 10 years. Whether their enemies are there or not is still one thing. Even if they are probably long gone. It is thought that Xiao and Yao died in the Killing City. However, to be on the safe side, Chen Luo planned to prepare masks for the two of them when he went to a nearby town later. If Guang Huanggang and Guang Huangfei needed them, they could prepare them together. Guang Huanggang still looked enthusiastic. After Chen Luo briefly asked for information about Xiao and Yao, he approached them again. It's just that this time, Xiao, Yao and Guang Huanggang seemed to have a lot more topics to talk about. It was no longer the same as before, with only Guang Huanggang chattering away. Are you actually an evil soul master? Haven't evil soul masters perished long ago? Yao was a little surprised by Guang Huanggang's identity. The same goes for Xiao. I used to think that evil soul masters didn't exist. Guang Huanggang smiled and said, that was all decades ago. I was supposed to be a rotten corpse. Fortunately, I met the owner and gave me a chance to be reborn. You have been dead for so many years and you can still be resurrected. Yao was even more surprised. Guang Huanggang said, my situation is quite special. Of course, there is no doubt about the master's strength. In the evening, Chen Luo and his party came to a small town. It seems that in front of every soul beast forest, there will be a small town like this, which relies on the resources related to the soul beast forest to develop. While rushing on the road, Chen Luo and Guangzhongfei walked in front, while Gongzhonggang, Yu Yao and Wei Liang Hao walked in the back, chatting almost all the way. After a long day's journey, let's find a place to rest and set off early tomorrow morning, Chen Luo said. Naturally, Chen Luo's few undead brothers had no objections, and Gongzhongfei also nodded. In fact, Chen Luo wanted to go directly to the Dark Night Forest tonight, but Gongzhonggang hadn't fully recalled the specific hiding place of the treasure. Although the Dark Night Forest is not as famous as the Star Forest, and its area is less than half that, it is still a forest, and it is impossible to search every corner. Gongzhonggang needs a night to remember and make a map, so he will use this time to take a rest. After staying in the Killing City for a month, I need some time to relax after coming out. In order to save accommodation fees, Chen Luo took Wei Liang Hao into the dead space. Chen Luo originally planned to take Gongzhonggang in. This guy had been a little too active recently and had to give him some quiet time, but Wei Liang Hao got there first. It is estimated that in the process of rushing, Gongzhonggang has brainwashed Wei Liang Hao and Yu Yao. Yu Yao also wanted to go to the necromancer space, but he had to queue up. We randomly found a hotel to stay in. Of course Chen Luo had a separate room, Gongzhongfei did the same, Gongzhonggang and Yu Yao lived together. Lying on the soft and comfortable bed in the room, Chen Luo looked out the window at the night, and Xiao Wu's figure suddenly flashed in his mind. Unknowingly, they have been separated for more than 2 months, and I don't know how Xiao Wu is doing now. At this time, she is probably still practicing seriously. After exploring the Evil Soul Master's treasure, go back immediately. End of this chapter. Thank you very much for reaching the end. Don't forget to like. Looking for more exclusive content and immediate access? Subscribe to our Patreon. Remember, every like, subscription, or donation encourages us to continue. Thanks to everyone, see you in the next video.